But right now, I'm very old. Sure. Good to see you this morning. Good to you. Good to see you. Ready for the.
Yeah, I want to argue that if we want, activity, that you come up to this podium. State, you're representing, let us know that. And, I think Rose, you have saying that you want in. Right here, right here. Yeah. Because they're gonna talk to the court anyway, so. If you were just, I want to hear everything that Paul has to say, because if he clearly to the factor on the Zoom, you definitely say your name, and I guess it got me to do it. Thank you. Okay, can everyone online hear us?
Yes.
Okay, Judge, whenever you're ready.
If it already started, it may just be me, but I can't hear anything.
No, we haven't started yet.
Don't anyone drop a pin right now. Well, big chairs, we have. I say all day. Spirit of transparency and keeping y'all all informed. We're just trying to, we had moved the meeting up here because we knew so many of y'all were coming. So we're figuring out, when the executive assistant can come up here, but he's got the management down there. So we kind of want to work that out. And I will say that I plan on making a motion to move agenda 15, 16, and 17 up to the front of the meeting, because I know all of y'all both have big lives. So, we'll go with that then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Today's Wednesday, April 8th. It is 10:14, we down, we're at the Presidio County Courthouse in the courtroom. This is a regular meeting of the Presidio County Commission Court. And I asked, our clerk, she's asked to confirm a form. Present. Here.
Here.
Thank you so much. Could we please stand for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag
Of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank everybody for their attendance. We never had so many people walk in for live transfers and audit the monthly report. Well, I'm just kind of proud of that. And I know it's not a funny situation. The next part of our agenda is public comments. So what I'd like to do, I'm gonna do something a little different now. You can imagine if I let each one of you speak for 5 minutes, how long you'll be here. And we do have county business to take care of. So I'd ask that you be respectful. I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. And we want to be respectful, and we ask you to, make your point, let us know how you feel. We won't make any comments. The only thing we ask is keep it under 5 minutes. Make sure we know who you are, your name is, and where you're from. So, without further ado, public comments.
Okay, fine, guys.
All that. Even though we know you.
Hi guys, my name is Yolanda Alvarado. I frequent Chispa Road at least 3 times a week. I spend half my life on that road. My family ranches on that road. We've been ranching for Presidio County for over 5 generations. There's actually a part of the road my great uncle built by hand on Chispa Road. So I'm the one who found the construction there, and as a concerned landowner, I was pretty shocked. We have a water line going through the road. And so this is what rose my awareness is having these provisions, item 15. Thank you so much for taking that into consideration. Because if we allow contractors to go through there, widen the road, take our land, I really do feel landowners need to be aware of that, have notice, proper notice. You know, if we lost water that day and half my herd died, I don't know, I need to know who to sue. Is that the county or the contractors? So I do want to say, I have seen in the past, what these contractors come and do. And we have experienced the border wall already. And on that ranch in Fort Quitman, they actually paved the road. And to this day, as soon as they were done with construction, they were gone. And to this day, the county is still fixing the issues they left with flooding and improper thought and consideration of how the land works in that area. Not only that, the landowners were left underwater for over 10 years. And so these contractors that come in, I just want to remind you that they're not here to help us. They're here to get a job done. They're here as car salesmen to sell a shiny car to help us out, but they're selling us a lemon that we are going to have to fix the issues in the end. The commissioners are going to have to come up with the solutions. The landowners are going to have to come up with solutions. And I ask that any decision you make, you take that into consideration, because I promise you, it's going to take one single rain to destroy anything they do on that road. I have seen it. I live it every day. So if there's nothing in my eyes that's going to be useful for these outside contractors to come in and disrupt the land and landowners. Aside from that, we have to remember that this is giving power to people who are coming here to build a wall. Right now, we have the power, the landowners have the power, and I beg you to let us keep that power and keep them in line and in place with the consideration of landowners and taxpayers. What else? There's a lot more I can say on that, and I had a lot more in my mind, but I wanted to just focus in on that county road because it's something that I drive almost every day. I'm going there tomorrow. So this is something that highly affects me and my day-to-day life. And I want to thank you all for taking all this into consideration.
Thank you.
The executive assistant just reminded me to please speak loud so the folks that are online can hear it.
My name is Ed Davis and I'm from Fairbanks and also from on the river about 26 miles south of Dryden. And we just came from there. And anyway, you start driving into our property. There's new towers, new fiber optic cable going in as we speak. And this, I talked to the Border Patrol agent right at the highway, guarding that road. He said it's still an open question as to whether what's going in will involve a physical wall. If it does, our property, you look at the map that they're showing, and it comes inland about a tier of properties from the river to get flatter ground for a road and fiber optic cable. And if it's a physical wall, we're gonna be demanding a gate. We're gonna hire lawyers and demand a gate because I'd be trying to hire lawyers to stop the wall, but we've been told it's not possible. So we're going to demand a gate. They will not want to give it to us. But anyway, remember, all this talk about a technology wall has not been finalized. And it's still, I think, in the end, going to have a physical wall associated with it. It came in from the river to get flatter terrain. we gotta drop down 400 feet to get to the river. So, and it's a rugged climb. It's, almost a natural wall, but you can still get down there and back up. So I'll keep it short, but that's what I got to say.
My name is Sean McGuire. I split my time between Terlingua and Fairbanks, Alaska. First, just want to say, they call this an emergency. That's a joke. And the 5 sheriffs from the Big Bend region have basically said this is not an emergency. They waived 28 laws. These laws were designed so stupid decisions wouldn't be made. These are long-standing laws. So to me, that's right off the bat, that's a scandal. Secondly, really interesting. I've been involved in grassroots politics my whole life. I do a lot of standing on the street corners. I've been standing on the corner of 118 and 170 for over 3 weeks now, the 4x8 sheet of plywood. It says no wall. I have never seen this kind of unity. Never. It is in over 3 weeks. I've got 5 thumbs down and 1 flip off. I usually get that in 1 hour. So this is an extremely rare thing. This kind of unity. So I just think I had a reporter talk to me from The Guardian, and he said, I'm looking for somebody who's for the wall. He said, I can't find anyone. He said, do you know anyone? And he said he'd been looking for several days. Just another indication of, you know, the unity of the opposition to this wall. This is the most beautiful part of Texas. It's unique on so many levels, so many levels. And, you know, there's this talk of, oh, we're just going to put some cameras up. Well, what does that mean? They won't tell us what it means. Does it mean roads? Does it mean towers? Does it mean, you know, wire, barriers? They won't tell us, but the 5 sheriffs have said clearly, we don't need a wall. We don't want a wall. If anyone knows, it's them. Thank you.
My name is Charlie Angel. I'm from Redford, Texas. I can't believe I just pledged allegiance to a nation and a flag that's going to take away my business and my house. That's ridiculous. There is no border crisis, and we know that. Everybody here knows that. There is an existential crisis. Everybody that has land along the river or cares about the Big Bend, we're going through the existential crisis. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to lay down for this. I don't have any children, no kids. No one to worry about as my ancestors. Everything I got is everything I've got. And I'm going to use everything I've got to go against this dumbass project. I can promise you that. I will not lay down. This court answers to our governor. He needs to get his ass down here or send somebody down here to talk to us. I'm sorry to always be in this courtroom so angry. I'd like to come in here and have something good to say. My life is getting ruined. My business is going to get ruined. Everything's going to get ruined. The wildlife will get ruined. There's going to be a crisis on the border at my house. I can guarantee you. It's going to be some kind of Waco style stuff. Somebody needs to change that. This courtroom has the power, and I do too. I don't know what was what.
Hi, my name is Jessica Bartow. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my husband and business partner, Billy Bartow, who cannot be here today. Any elected official, subcontract, or private citizen who chooses to participate in building a border wall in the Big Bend region is not just contributing to a construction project. You are actively participating in the destruction of one of the most unique and irreplaceable landscapes in America. You will be actively participating in stealing Texans' land. You will be actively participating in gifting the Rio Grande to Mexico. You will be actively participating in lining the pockets of those who do not live here and should have no say in what protects our region. A wall here does not solve a crisis, it creates one. It fragments wildlife habitat that has existed for thousands of years. It scars landscapes that drive tourism and local economies. It disrespects landowners, business owners, and communities who have overwhelmingly said this does not belong here. This is one of the least trafficked sectors of the entire southern border. The cost is enormous and the damage is permanent. So if you choose to take part in building this wall, whether you are approving it, funding it, physically constructing it, approving road construction, or man cams, you are choosing to trade a living, breathing landscape for a political symbol and go against our local community's voices. And once it's done, we don't get Big Bend back. You cannot rebuild wilderness. You cannot restore uninterrupted horizons. You cannot undo the loss of what makes this place special. You cannot give Charlie his land back, his business back, or same thing with Yolanda or anybody else that is in this room. This is the line in the sand. If you care about public lands, about rural economies, about respecting local voices, you cannot support this project because building a wall in Big Bend isn't protection, it is destruction. And history will remember who stood on which side. So ask yourself, what do you want your legacy to be? Being part of the generation that protected Big Bend for the future, or the one that destroyed it for good?
I'm Joan Escamilla. I live in Alpine now, and this is my home forever. I went to Sul Ross in 1974, 75, wasn't smart enough to stay, but I'm here to stay now. I have no children, grandchildren, so I don't have to go anywhere. This is my zone, and this is where I choose to stay and live and keep it as I hope to see it. I'm speaking specifically to agenda item number 15, and also partial of number 16, which pertains to Chispa Road, to the construction, deconstruction, reconstruction of a road, which you've already heard 2-3 people speak to. They live there. I'm there to support them too, and I will stand with you, Charlie. Woo! We fought in 2008 and 10 to remove any plans for the Trans-Texas Corridor off my East Texas branch and land. It still exists there because we fought it down with the help of elected officials and senators, and we took down the governor's plans for that. This is now broader than that. You know, everybody knows some of the statistics, but I'm going to ask a few key questions, especially to the elected officials here and the attorney who may be able to speak to this. Who allowed federal contractors to move equipment and or begin work on Chispa Road? Why wasn't local county officials notified first? Who will be held responsible for damages and destruction of county and state property and resources? Will federal contractors follow county and state laws, since they have already shown disregard for this court and disrespect for local law enforcement and citizens, and primarily Texans? This is not a U.S. issue. This is a Texas issue, and we keep it by force. How are the contractors being selected and assigned, vetted, scrutinized? Are we certain that they're not some criminal element from somewhere else? And what resources will they consume in our communities, our Chihuahuan desert, with such limited resources, such as water, housing, tourism, all those things that they will be taking off of the table of all these people who live here and reside here? Will they or any other contractors be allowed to disregard local laws, landowners' rights, wildlife, down to the venerated Texas horned toad, okay? Plant life diversity, and mainly, again, law-abiding citizens. I have the right to walk to the end of my border with Mexico, Texas. It's in the middle of the river. I do not give up that right. By default, I will not allow land to be ceded to Mexico, who I happen to love and adore to. They're not considering ancient sacred sites or burials or other things that this lady and others who live there and know about, and yet to be determined, yet to be discovered. Now, the hated, often degenerated, whatever the word is, NAGPRA, Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. I am Choctaw by blood, Texana by ancestry. 200 years my mother lived in this country, Tecas, y Coahuila. I urge this court to consider all aspects of their repatriation and demeanor, that may be reputation and demeanor of the contractor. Sorry about that. I urge this court to consider all aspects of the contractors, of their reputation and demeanor to this end. Delay this permit. Make them remove the trespass equipment and personnel, make them go to the back of the line and penalize them with fines for their illegal presence in our state and our counties.
Yes. 30 seconds left.
Thank you. Why is this road necessary? Why do we need to reconstruct it? And will we still be able to access it all the way to our legal border, the river? Lastly, whomever receives a duly awarded contract through the bidding process, who is going to pay for it in the long term? And shouldn't there be consideration for Texas contractors and Texas jobs? Thank you.
My name is Sam Kaysen. I'm a resident in Alpine, Brewster County. I want to speak specifically to the Chispa Road issue, but you can appreciate how it applies to other aspects of border wall construction. I'm a professional archaeologist. I've worked in the Big Bend region for 29 years. I conduct cultural resource management as a consultant for private industry, the U.S. Department of Defense, and the Center for Environmental and Military Lands, the U.S. Department of Transportation, Department of Agriculture, and a number of federal, private, and state entities, cultural resource management. And I want to speak to cultural resources. I need to highlight that the earth disturbing activities in the county jurisdiction have the potential to impact archaeological sites. According to the Texas State Antiquities Code, the county, as a subdivision of the state, must take cultural resources into consideration and consult with the Texas Historical Commission. Moreover, since the border wall project is a federal one, it must take into consideration archaeological sites per Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. A review of the Texas Historical Commission's Archaeological Sites Atlas, a state-run database, clearly indicates that there are archaeological sites along and immediately adjacent to the Chispa Road. Some of these sites are eligible for listing in the National Register of Historic Places, a U.S. Department of the Interior reference under the criteria of the National Historic Preservation Act, Section 1 of the National Historic Preservation Act as amended, and as a state Texas state archaeological landmarks per the Texas Historical Commission as specified in the Antiquities Code of Texas. That is the Texas Natural Resources Code, Title 9, Chapter 191. Sites eligible for the National Register of Historic Places and as designations as archaeological landmarks are significant and warrant protection as specified in federal legislation and state legislation that I just mentioned, the National Historic Preservation Act and the Antiquities Code of Texas. The American people, federal lawmakers, and Texas state lawmakers established these laws to protect significant sites because of their value as elements of state and national cultural heritage and sources of scientific knowledge. These sites also warrant consideration under the Native American Graves and Repatriation Act and the Archaeological Resources Protection Act of 1979. These legislative drivers, laws that are enacted by the state and by the United States, are designed to protect and preserve significant archaeological sites because they have value to American society. The significance of specific sites in this project area, the area of potential effect, is demonstrated by research and documentation that spans decades. The proposed road improvements and construction along the Chispa Road and along the entire corridor of this proposed border wall construction is an undertaking, which is a technical term recognized by the feds and by the state. It has the potential to pose an adverse effect to these protected resources, as well as yet undiscovered and undocumented archaeological sites along the construction zone. Without archaeological study, which is standard operating procedure, the impact of the affected sites will be irrevocable loss of national cultural heritage and knowledge. The Chispa Road runs through a cultural landscape that is notably different than other portions of the United States. This is a region where cultural systems have at intervals thrived and adapted for more than 13,000 years. This place is a nexus of prehistoric and historical period cultural developments that are truly unique and in many instances, world renowned. It is clearly necessary to adhere to Texas state and federal guidelines and legislation regarding the identification and evaluation of archaeological sites in this project's area of potential effect. Provide unambiguous information regarding the proposed project area's potential effects, and conduct these studies that are mandated by law.
Yes.
Morning, my name is Catherine Germano and I live in Terlingua, Texas. I can't believe that our community is fighting for our lives as we know them right now, but here we are. But our neighbors and our home is worth the fight. The proposed border wall raises serious questions and concerns about land access, eminent domain, and long-term control over private property. Many ranchers and landowners here rely on access to all parts of their land for water, livestock, and daily operations. Making roads, quote unquote, more accessible with 50-mile-an-hour drivers that are unfamiliar with the territory and the terrain makes everything more dangerous. A wall can cut off that access to the water or complicate it in ways that make the land significantly more difficult. There's also the question of precedent. How much authority should be exercised over private land in the name of a project that may not directly benefit the people who live here? This isn't just about the land, it's about autonomy, livelihood, and trust. I urge you to ensure that the voices of landowners are not just heard, but prioritized in this conversation. Also, I'd like to speak to the economic implications of a border wall in the Big Bend region and the impact that increased construction traffic could have on our economy. This border wall is both physically and fiscally unnecessary and irresponsible. From generational ranchers to river guides to restaurants, the impact would be devastating.
This area is not driven by industry or dense development. It is sustained by tourism, by small businesses, by people who come here specifically because it is untouched, remote, and deeply connected to the natural world. Visitors don't travel here to see infrastructure. They come for dark skies, for uninterrupted views, for the feeling of being somewhere that still exists outside of overdevelopment. The border wall and associated construction changes that the border wall and associated construction changes that experience fundamentally. It introduces industrial presence into one of the most visually and spiritually expansive landscapes in Texas. The shift has consequences. Fewer visitors, shorter stays, less spending at local businesses, restaurants, hotels, outfitters, and guides. For many in this region, that's not abstract, their livelihood. We should be asking, does this project support the long-term economic sustainability of this region, or does it risk undermining the very qualities that make it viable? Protecting Big Bend is not just an environmental stance, it's an economic one. Thank you.
Hi, Commissioners, Judge. My name is Bill Addington, Bill Garrett Addington. And I was just remembering here before, we fought a radioactive waste dump for 20 years. Your former judge, Jake Brisbane, and your county attorney, Teresa Todd, were instrumental, along with other counties, in stopping the outrage of a national radioactive waste dump in Sierra Blanca, Texas. And that proved that we can beat the state of Texas and the federal government that were trying to allow other states to dump radioactive waste here in my home of Sierra Blanca for 25 years, 15 miles from the river. My great uncle, Mariano Tamez, had a hardware store in Valentine, Texas in 1950. My grandmother, Lisa Tamez, met my grandfather, Jose Guerra, who was coming from Merida, Yucatan, in Valentine. And at my great uncle's hardware store in downtown there in Valentine. Yeah. So we have deep roots, just like the lady said. We have deep roots in this land, and a connection to the land. I inherited the Guerra Farm and Ranch in Hudspeth County, about 15 miles downstream from Fort Quitman, where this would begin, this outrage. There's also, and I want everyone to know, we hear a lot about the park, all the parks and some about other cultural sites, but my county, Hudspeth, has equal sacred sites, such as Indian Hot Springs, listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and a treasure. It's some of the hottest, it is the hottest hot springs in Texas. There's 5 of them. Also, I know there's limited time here, a lot of people speaking, I've got 5 minutes. But the power of a resolution, I wanted to bring that up. When we fought the Sierra Blanca radioactive waste dump, there were 17 county resolutions, 22 city resolutions. Every state in Mexico had a resolution against it, every border state. And then the entire country of Mexico, that 600 diputados and 200 senados came out and demanded to President Clinton to stop this outrage. This shows this. It's the same as this wall issue. These are political issues. They have nothing to do with what's right. And the way they can be beat is the same way they came in, political. I remember, just to let you know the history, Jake Brisbane went with us many places to Austin to fight this dump. And I testified in Congress twice with Teresa Todd to the Energy and Power Subcommittee. Of course, they passed this compact, which would allow Maine and Vermont to dump on us for 25 years for $50 million. But we still went and voiced our concerns, voiced our outrage, and it had a great effect on Congress. And we held up that compact for 3 years because of Paul Wellstone. I should say, we have to believe we can do something before we can. This is what's happening here. We all know this, the people that live there. Our ancestors' sweat and blood are in this land. My grandfather worked really hard from 1915 till he died in 1964 to create a farm, a ranch. We used to have a ranch that was 100 sections, but now we just have the farm. I don't recognize their authority in Washington. And I think that being the duly elected representatives of this county and all these counties, we hope that y'all will exercise every legal and political tool in your toolbox to stop this outrage. This is what I'm telling my commissioners in Hudson County. We elected you to protect us from this type of thing. So, you know, I don't know what the finances are here, but you may need to hire some outside legal counsel. I've got an attorney, and I will disagree with the gentleman that spoke before. This can be beat legally. There are several things that I've been talking to eminent domain lawyers, not ones that just want to get you more money, but ones that will fight for us to stop this outrage. And there is some legal things that can be done. So in closing, I think that the political issue being what it is. Oh, I know what I want to bring up. The general land office. They own 60% of my county, the GLO, public school lands. They could actually put a lot of pressure on Governor Bush, who should be the target and should have been the target at the rally that we had in Austin last Saturday, but they didn't even mention that. I attended it. Great turnout, about 4,000 people, but there was really no clear target or what do we do, just kind of like bipartisan kumbaya stuff. And so I appreciate all the effort that went into that. It was a great event, but we need to have clear political targets because we're not baking cookies here. This is hardball, and we need to make sure that the state and federal government, I mean, Governor Abbott could.
Bill,
I'm sorry? Okay, am I finished? Okay,
Yes.
all right, that's it.
I love.
No, that's once you get, so I'll stop there. But politically, this can be stopped, but we need to do that. So I appreciate everything that y'all have done in the past and continue. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Grace Wells, and I'm a homeowner and a business owner here in Presidio County. I come from a long line of Texas State Public Service, State Court of Appeals justices, district attorneys, law enforcement members. And I find what Varner Construction has done to this county to be completely disrespectful and demonstrates that they're not qualified to steward county property. I cannot imagine being awarded a multi-million-dollar contract by the federal government and not doing a survey. Are you kidding me? Judge Portillo, if a group of contractors showed up on your front lawn with a bunch of equipment, didn't call you and started digging, even if you wanted to repave your driveway, you probably wouldn't contract them to do it after that. Why would we allow a contractor that thinks that the members of this community and of this court are too stupid to notice that they're not doing the paperwork? They didn't forget. And they're not here, not because they're getting it together because they didn't know. They're not here because they're waiting us out because they thought we wouldn't notice when we did, because they think nobody's going to show up to this courtroom and we did, and because they think that you guys aren't going to care about it and you do. And it's disrespectful to this community. It is disrespectful to the state of Texas, and it's disrespectful to every one of you who had to, I'm sure, file a lot of paperwork to run for office and has to do a lot of work every single day to tell people what you're up to. Why on earth would we allow a federal contractor to steward Chispa Road who can't even start with the basics? They have disqualified themselves from being able to steward county property, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it.
Hello, my name is Henry Quintela. I'm here on behalf of my father. He owns land south of Redford. We mainly use it to recreational, but the land has been in the family since back in the 1950s. We don't work it like most people here do, but sooner or later we plan to do something with agricultural, livestock, whatever. But who do I talk to? Who do we really communicate? Because I got a package from the Army Corps of Engineers. First, it was an email saying we're going to pay X amount of dollars to let y'all have, give us permission to get on your land, so we can survey. Then they sent out, satellite photos of what they're gonna take up, or what they think they're gonna take up. And that's what's back in the riverfront property that my father has. And we're gonna lose water rights, we're gonna lose, there's a house built there, I mean, it's not nothing extravagant or anything, but there is a water well. And if they go right through the middle of the property, who's gonna rebuild that house that's been there for ages now? The water well, they're gonna give me another water well, they're gonna give us another water well to use. And if we do have animals, we're not gonna have access to the water anymore. I mean, you're taking away the lifeline of the property up and down the river. And not just for me, but for people that are farming, have animals, cattle. And that's not right. Who do I trust? Because right after they sent me this, my father, he's already old, he forgets stuff, so I told him, send me the package, that way I can review it and go over it with him. And last week I received a call from the same lady saying, hey, we just need verbal confirmation. At first it was, we need you to sign the application, the paper so you can give us access, and now it's, just let me in, it'll be okay. We don't need any paper, so who do we really trust? I mean, that's why everybody's here. I'm surprised. I didn't think there was gonna be such a big turnout, but there's a lot more people wanting to defend the land more than I thought. I mean, I've been on that land since I was like 10 or 11, flown up and down the river, fishing, hunting. I mean, it's all gonna be taken away. And my father he's a veteran. He fought in the Korean demilitarization of in Korea. He's got battle scars both physically and mentally. And just for them to say, we can just come in, if you agree to this, it's okay, but if you don't agree to it, we're just gonna come in anyways. That's not right either. So who do we really talk to? I mean, everybody's saying get lawyers. Well, okay, let's all come together. Let's do something. And I think it can be fought because it's been done in other parts of Texas and other parts of the US. But we just can't let our guard down or just lay down and undertake it. Who else? Who else do we talk to? I mean, here with you guys is the first step. Where do we go from here? Who do we really talk to? Who do we really get in touch with? Who's gonna really help us?
I think you're gonna find out when you have that audience.
Yeah, just to let you guys know and everybody else who's here know, I mean, it comes from the government and they're saying we're trying to help you, but they're not. And they don't really know the lay of the land because I don't see how they're gonna put up a big old wall to our part of the property because when the river flows, it's gonna take it all down. You can't control Mother Nature, and Mother Nature has proven that everywhere. Take it down. So please help out as much as you guys can for the rest of us and everybody who really has more at stake than I do. But I know I want to fight tooth and nail for it. All right, thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is John Ferguson. I'm the mayor of the city of Presidio. Really, want to tell you that we've had some delays, but last night we passed our resolution in the city of Presidio question. My copy, I've got a copy for the commissioners to keep. I was really excited. The way that we did it, is we had a lady in the audience who did not speak English. And so we read the whole, resolution in Spanish. Because the Presidio community needs to get more engaged. I think they're intimidated.
Yes. Yes.
And so, out of respect to the Spanish speaking population, we've read this in its entirety, Judy Herrera helped us. We read it in Spanish. Sorry. The city of Presidio has received inquiries about man camps.
No.
And nothing has happened up to this point. But we are really concerned about our ability, if it were to come to pass, to even accommodate the sudden influx of people in our community. And so with that being said, I want to turn to the commissioners with the same idea that when you're getting these requests for road construction, whatever it may be, please keep in mind the county's ability to even accommodate these types of requests. Because they're coming at us fast and they're not giving us much time to prepare. And we just need to really keep that in mind. I'm all in. Charlie Angel, I'm all in with you. 100%. I'm with you. Judge and I are very close friends. I noticed Judge Hickson from Brewster County walked in a few minutes ago. Those of us in elected office locally, we need to come together. Yeah. And we just like the gentleman was asking, who do I go to next? We need to be able to go to Austin, talk to the governor. We need to go to, I've written a letter to Mark Wayne Mullen with DHS. I've written a letter to Tony Gonzalez, but I don't know if that's going to amount to a hill of beans. But those of us who have that authority and that representation, we need to come together immediately and fly into action and represent everybody here in Big Bend.
My name is Michael Ryan. I'll try not to be emotional. I don't even live here, but I'm from here. 58 years of living either in Marfa or Terlingwood. In those years, I've seen a lot. As a community, I've seen its weather lots of storms. We've seen floods as a community, fires that we fought as a community, drought always, wind, hail, we've seen them. And here we are, thriving community still. 58 years, the good news for y'all is in 58 years, I've never seen one thing. I've never seen a community come together and ride out from their shelter to face this storm. I've never seen them. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope that's what we're going to do. We see this destruction of what's coming. This is a storm that Presidio County has never seen before. It seems unstoppable, but here we are. Everyone has stopped their lives. Everyone I know a lot of people, and everybody I know has put down everything. They've left their shelter. They drive here. They pay for the gasoline. They dig into their savings to fight this storm. And this storm doesn't come from the north. It doesn't come from the south. It's coming by road. It's coming through Chispa Road. Y'all are the first line of defense, folks. We are right behind you. But I beg you to do everything you can to oppose this. This wall construction, these man camps. We want to take our water, ruin our roads, ruin everything. Nobody wants it. Nobody. No matter who.
We don't need it.
We will. This is not a storm that'll just pass. We will keep fighting. But know who's fighting this. And that's where I get my strength. That's where Charlie gets his strength. I don't know where Charlie gets his strength, by the way. I mean, it's amazing. But here we are, and I want you to do everything you can to support the people that hate this and will fight it. Thank you.
Morning, my name is Susan Butler, I live here in Martha, and, you've had a lot of conversation about the wall, and I won't repeat what we've all heard. But as I'm sure you know better than I, the county does have authorities that the federal government cannot take away. For example, I think it's the Texas Transportation Code, excuse me, that allows you to require traffic impact analyses prior to issuing. Louder. I think it's the Texas Transportation Code that allows you to require rather, traffic, impact analyses and other kinds of requirements. So, should the contractor do what every contractor knows they have to do, get the appropriate permit? If you have that kind of policy in place, that gives you the authority to, evaluate the impacts and have, take that into consideration prior to issuing or denying any permit, whether it's this particular one, which is certainly a big one, or any future development that may happen in the county. So I'd encourage you to use all the tools in the local government code, the transportation code. You have a lot authority that could be used. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Martha Stafford. I'm a Presidio County resident. I am here on behalf of the Friends of the Ruidoso Church. In 2019, the county entrusted the Friends Group to take this church on for its preservation and eventual restoration. We now need your help because the wall is an imminent threat to the church. We are a few hundred yards from the proposed wall in Ruidoso. Additionally, Highway 170 has its sharp curve north, right at the corner of our church. When the heavy equipment comes in, we are running the risk of the vibrations, destroying our already fragile adobe. We're also running the risk of any of the heavy equipment clipping the side of this church. Additionally, with man camps comes crime. In a 2019 study by the U.S. Department of Justice, they saw an increase of unlawful sexual contact statutory rate rise by 44.8% in man camps. Aggravated assault throughout the county where man camps were rose to 70.1%. Serious domestic violence saw an increase in 47%, and serious stranger violence rose by 47%. Presidio County does not have the law enforcement to cover this kind of crime. We also do not have emergency services able to cover these movements. I implore you to please do everything possible to stop the construction. You are our first line of defense. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So,
I don't have anything prepared to say. My name is Barbara Baskin. I'm still a professional archaeologist, even though it's been a long time. I've lived at Presidio now permanently for 31 years, April 1st of 1995. I did things on April 1st and things don't work out. I can say it was a joke. Things have worked out until my property, which is the Reza property. Those of you who've ever been up into Big Bend Ranch State Park will know of the Reza adobe at the top of Panther Springs in Panther Canyon. It was built by the Reza family that owned the homestead where I've lived. I purchased it in 2001 and have lived there since. I redid the old historic adobe there. The original small little adobe was torn down by the previous owner. I don't have kids, and certainly men cost way too much to have around. So I have always planned on leaving my property to Big Bend Ranch State Park, so that maybe instead of only people from Terlingua or Presidio could get jobs, maybe they'd actually have someone who could give permits right there, right across the street from, well, we called it the Redbridge Shortcut. It's now been named Bocasillas Road. So that when people pass Warnock Center and forgot to get there, or didn't have to drive on to Presidio to Fort Lee. So all this is, I came out in 1958, Easter of 1958. I was still 7 to Big Bend National Park. Still had the 11 original basin campsites, nothing but a tiny little gas station at Rio Grande Village. I love this area. I grew up in Corpus Christi. Nobody can figure out why I'm not there. I've had lands on the Lampasas River that I've gone through since 77. Big old oak tree, clear river. People have said for 31 years, no, this is where I lived. I told them after working in East Texas, Central Texas, after learning on basically one of my first projects in 1973, Galveston Corps of Engineers and Houston Light and Power Company, then put in Allen's Creek Nuclear Power Plant. We show up there, I think there were like 6 or 7 of us on that survey crew. And the geologists came. They're like, what are y'all doing? We're archaeologists. They can't put a power plant here. There are 2 fault lines through. But they did, or they didn't do the power plant, but they condemned everybody's land and took it on the San Bernard River. Beautiful, sandy, beautiful oak trees, grass. There was a family, the Kolodicheks. Their parents were in their 80s at the time. He was probably about in his 50s, maybe. He met us with a shotgun. Back then, the geologists had to go and get permission because Houston Light and Power and Corps of Engineers knew exactly how landowners were going to, welcome us. They condemned those people's land. Kolodichek went down to look at land at Cuero. He said, a realtor took me to the top of that hill and said, look at that view. And he said, my cows can eat it. And that's all. They don't care. They don't care about anything. You think any of those people have been out in nature? No. This land is to be protected. And I want Presidio County's new historical commission to know that, to go back in the records and find that letter that was sent by the historical commission reprimanding Presidio County for their destruction of archaeological sites. That was read at the Brewster County Historical Commission meeting. And I only knew because 2 of the board of directors called me to tell me. Now I talked to the judge and all. So we need to stand up because we are one of the last counties left that haven't had all this destruction. So I'll shut up now, but I love this country and I will do anything. I'm not finished keeping my property. And somebody should really pay for the destruction of one of the very first homesteads in the Redford area.
Thank you.
That area should have been protected much better.
Thank you, Ms. Bethany.
Hello, my name is Haley Pines. I am a resident of Brewster County in Terwingla. I have over a decade-long career dedicated to resource conservation, both in the Big Bend area and in the Northern Rocky Mountains. Like most people in this room, I have my entire life savings tied to a property in Terlingua. And, you know, I work as a mule packer and a river guide and a wilderness ranger, so those savings did not come quickly or easily. I'm very concerned that how the wall will affect tourism, which is our only industry in Terlingua. And yeah, I will be brief because everything that I want to say has already been said more eloquently than I could ever say it. But I just want to state publicly that I do not support the widening of Cheeseboro Road or any resource damage or infrastructure to support the wall.
My name is Kelsey Wogan, and I live in Alpine via way of Terlingua for many years. I'm going to try really hard to not be emotional, but to me, and all of y'all have hit the nail on the head in so many ways, but looking at the political climate now, it seems like you look at the region that they included us in, you know, it's El Paso de Del Rio, right? And it seems like we're included because we're the international dark sky community, you know, there's nobody who lives out here. And so construction of this wall seems to me to be an appeal to a voting base that doesn't exist here. It seems like an act of political showmanship that was slated for this area because it is so remote, because we have this enormous country. And I think that the greater powers completely underestimated why there are so few people here, but how deeply we all care for this place that is so much bigger than us. And so I hope that our pushback, I hope that everything that y'all can pull to prevent this from happening because as frightening as it is, it does seem to me to be such an act, you know, look what we can do. We're building a wall, even though we don't need one here. And hopefully we can get this pushed back until the political tide has rolled over us and calmer heads prevail. But this seems to me there are so many of these projects that are proposed in areas that have taken eons and forever to become what they are. But this is one of those things where, sure, you can take a couple years and put up some razor wire or bulldoze a bunch of stuff, but you can't undo that. And there will be no way to help our land recover from this. And so even if it is just stalling and stalling, it's one of those things that you cannot undo. And so to keep what we have in this country that we all obviously love so much, just, you know, even just stall it because it does feel like it'll blow over. There's no reason to have it. And so if we can just keep fighting until decision makers, you know, we get better ones in there, it seems like that's, you know, even if we can just do that, because you could not, any of this construction, any of this destruction that is slated, you can't undo that and you can't get the Big Bend back.
Michael Boyer, I live in Terlingua, Texas, and I'm just in full agreement with everybody here and struggle to find anybody that agree with this potential devastation and we gotta stop this shit.
We'll move on to our. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jane Lindlar. I'm a resident of Presidio County and a landowner in Brewster County. I'm gonna echo everything that everybody has said, but here I go. I oppose the use and modification of our county roads by these federal contractors. Accepting a gift to improve our county roads is essentially allowing them to pave the way to destruction. And if you grant them permission, you can't unring that bell. There is no going back. Road and wall construction will lead to the subsequent destruction of our private and public lands, livelihoods, communities, the river ecosystem here and downstream, wildlife habitat and corridors, border culture, sacred and indigenous sites, our local economy. It will drain our wells and precious resources and destroy life as we know and love it in the Big Bend. Not to mention the establishment of man camps, which is totally extractive and creates safety concerns for citizens and would strain already scarce healthcare services. Additionally, these contractors have begun construction unannounced and without asking permission, which is incredibly disrespectful to our community, our land, and our culture. This makes me wonder what else they will do without asking first. If county road improvements are a need, there are other ways to accomplish this without allowing the federal contractors to do so for their own gain. I urge you to think deeply about the impacts that this decision could have in the short and long term. I oppose the construction of a physical border wall and therefore the permission of use and construction on a road that will help facilitate that. Thank you.
My name is Eduardo Barrera, retired professor from the University of Texas in El Paso. I was born in Mexico and I'm a naturalized citizen. My grandfather used to tell me about the border of Coahuila and Texas. My great grandmother was Kickapoo. Kickapoos are allowed to cross the border. There are many other tribes, but only 3 are allowed to go back and forth. Kickapoos, Tono Odan, and Yaquis, Llorenes. All the tribes, and there are many others that are not federally recognized, but are divided by the border. In Presidio, there's a Lipan Apache community, Nde. And all the native names of the tribes, they usually translate as those who are from that land, except Kickapoos. Kickapoo translates as he moves about, he moves around. That's what the Kickapoos do. That's what all the 4-legged do. And they should not be obstructed. There are many species that are endangered. And a wall would only contribute to their extinction. So I plead you to protect the species, all the native communities that will be divided by that wall. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sandy Turbin. I am a resident of Terlingua. I am a property owner. I the last 13 years. I first came to work in Terlingua on the river for Fire Flowing Outdoor Center in February of 2002. Little did I know how much I would fall in love with Big Bend. I'd been here before, but to spend so many days and nights on the river in those canyons, I fell in love. It's my home. I love it. I guided on the river commercially for 15 years. I still privately boat. There was one winter, I say winter, winter season, I guess I should say, October to April. I spent more nights camping on the river than I ever did in Terlingua. It's my home. It's so safe. I've never had an issue at all. I don't see people crossing on the river. If anything, I see them crossing from Texas to Mexico. If you haven't been on the river, please, I would love to take you on the river. I'd love to show you my home and share my love of the Big Bend. Please don't break my heart. Please help us.
Really planning to speak, but my name is David Keller. I live in Redford. I know many of you. I appreciate the county's position against the wall. We need your support. Like many people, like many of my friends out here, I dropped everything I was doing to fight this thing because this is huge. This is existential. This is the biggest threat this region has ever faced. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it. I've been here for 25 years. As an archaeologist, as a historian, I've written 3 books about the area. Worked on the biggest archaeological survey in the state's history in the national park. I've been working along the river corridor in recent months. I've staked my life on this place. This place means everything to me. I love this place. I'm here for a reason. And I represent hundreds of people that feel that way. And so, I appreciate your support. And all I would say is I want you to stand strong. And I want you to stand with us till the bitter end, whatever that may be. I'm hopeful. And the reason I'm hopeful is because there's never been a response like this anywhere along the road. This is unprecedented. We can win. We have to remain unified. We have to stay together. So I would say, as a community, one of the things we have to do is watch each other. Keep each other on the straight road. There are going to be people that are willing to sell us out for quick money. We'll let them do it. This is too important. The game has changed. This is like a new world order. It's not the old thing that we had. You can't trust this government. You cannot trust them. They have demonstrated that. And this wall is so ill-conceived, it's beyond comprehension. So I appreciate your support. Let's all stand strong and let's beat this thing.
My name is Jennifer Simon. I split my time between Terlingua and our other northern border up in New Hampshire. I want to thank you all for having us here from the different communities, towns, counties, and states. I want you to know I echo everyone said in this room, hoping that these committees, you are first line and have the opportunity to pass policies, resolutions, and to also let you know you have friends everywhere across the United States. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we'll move on to our, it's gonna be a little unique. I've already had a request to move over from the routine agenda items to the regular agenda. And specifically consider moving to agenda item number 15.
Great. I'd like to make that motion that, we start with regular session, starting with item number 15 and follow that with 16 and 17. Or I'll just start looking for a second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a motion and second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Thank you so much. So we'll move on to agenda item number 15. Agenda item number 15, discussion with action to approve a resolution and order establishing a procedure and requirements of any special road use of county roads.
So this was something that, a couple weeks ago, the judge brought to me as a potential, thought for this. Of course, we thought we had a lot of time to plan these sort of things, and we were a bit surprised last week with the, contractors showing here today. So I threw this on very, very quickly to the agenda. I had a meeting with CDP DC office on Monday, to discuss with them the legal aspects of the county roads, the White County roads, not kind of project very, very quickly. The county is in charge of county roads, of course, and do maintenance, building, et cetera. No. And so in order for there to be any other outside use of county roads outside of, regular, driving on public road, regular use requires, either the county to do it or they do it. So, looking into establishing a procedure, because we don't have a formalized procedure, there's, unlike other counties in West Texas who have a lot of like oil, gas development, et cetera, or any of those large industries, we don't have a lot of heavy use on our county roads at the moment, which is why we don't have a formalized procedure. So I'm looking at establishing a procedure. Of course, this is a bit of a unique situation because this isn't just large industrial use of a county road. This is actually on a county road to work on it and regrade it. Generally, when that comes up, it's because a county has hired contractors to do it. So for it to be in this scenario, how the contractors are coming to us to work on a county road is extremely unusual. For that reason, it's taking me, I'm taking more time and hearing a lot of, someone mentioned the transportation bill, government, a lot of different folks that need to digest before we can really go see together. So in discussion with CDP on Monday about all of these aspects of the use of the county road, including the need for a survey, they indicated that they were not prepared to give a presentation to the county, with all the information that I told them that we would need, in order to consider permitting a special use of the road. The other issue, potential legal issue, is the widening of a county road. Cheaper Road is very vertical, right? I'm sure the dedicatory instrument is many, many decades old and buried somewhere in that, county land records. I have not dug through about it. It will take, I believe, the contractor sitting land and here on around, 20 years to start digging through the deeds, to find those kind of documents. So I don't know the dedication piece to road, how wide it is, right? Right now, I know we have it listed as a 16-foot road on our county road system. That would be the minimum dedication width. The dedication instrument could have been 20 feet, it could have been 25 feet, without seeing that really old, establishment of road from the very beginning. I don't know what our leeway is on it. Without that knowledge, we don't know if we can even widen the road from what it is. If there, say, for example, the county has a 20-foot right of way along Cheeseman Road in its dedication instrument, and these contractors are seeking to go to 30 feet. Obviously, the county doesn't have the right to 30 feet, so what would happen is that, the adjacent landowners who have those strips of land need to dedicate those strips of land to the county for public road use, and it would have to happen along the entirety of Cheeseman Road. Again, this was something that was discussed with CBP, and they, indicated that their first thing is to figure out for the contractors what width they need and want. They're not sure, and then to go through the land records and figure out what use we have. Once they've got a plan and a survey, and, especially if we have to talk about closing down the road and it affecting the use of the road for a certain amount of time, then they will come to the county with a request for the county on what their use of the road is, be it widening it, be regrading it, closing it for certain dates. And then it'll be up to, that'll be a application for the commissioners to have that review. The end of the phone call I had with CBP on Monday, since they said, we're not prepared for this information, we need to go do more research and come back to you. I said, if that's the case, are you coming to the meeting on Wednesday to discuss this? And they said they were not prepared, to give that presentation or the amount of information you get. For that reason, I'm withdrawing my motion of the action portion of our motion. I'm just gonna give this quick update and discussion of why it's on here, what it is, and what it's intended to be, when I'm prepared to come back to something more, substantive, and hopefully we'll have more information on it. If anyone has any questions for me.
So we're speaking this specifically to item number 15.
Yeah, that's why I'm discussion.
And it did, it was really helpful to read into 16 also, because they're pretty close together. So basically, we can discuss this further, but you're saying that you would probably like us to table it really ready.
Yeah, I don't have like procedure documents prepared. And so I'm gonna withdraw the portion of mine. The discussion portion is starting happening. And so if y'all have questions for me, great, if not, we can table this.
So I did meet yesterday with our road and bridge supervisors. I think the event that I told you here. And we were just going over. Do you have like money? No, not right now, other than if you wouldn't mind moving up. And I just wanted to go over some of the things we talked about yesterday. I did bring a map, a laminated map of all the county roads. For all of you that does not know me, Lord, for all of you that does not know me, my name is Brenda Rafi. I'm the one in charge for both departments for the county of Pekin. And anything that you want to know about what I do, we're more than happy to answer. So we went over the list of roads and the designation of roads, and PFAS is a first class road, and according to the transportation code, it's required to be 40 feet wide, but no more than 100 feet wide, and it mentioned a causeway, which I'm not sure what that means. I know what a causeway is, but I think it's just a guardrail, if anything from running off the road. And that has to be a minimum of 16 feet. So I understand exactly what you're going through. I've designated, and when I was talking to Loran and I was asking what's the width of the road, it's nowhere near 100 feet. No. The minimum width on Chispa Road is 30 feet. As per Texas law, that's the minimum. Those some sections, based on what I'm going to say, we don't have records. It could be 20 feet, 50 feet, whatever the record we, but we don't have record at this time.
Ruben, do you have records of like when this classification and everything was set up? Was that before your time, or did you set the classification and you have actual survey evidence that show
It was done before I took a position, and it was very in the list, and it was prepared by someone that I had no idea who, and it was provided to Texas Department of Transportation. And when I took over, that's the one that I was using.
I know there was something that TxDOT required, I wanna say it was 2008, 2004. And they required each county to go back and identify and designate those county roads, if they actually qualified. So what you're saying, you weren't a part of this. I see Judge Monroe down there, and I know he's not a part of this, but I don't know if you know anything about that. Judge.
Joe, no, nothing was done on that issue.
Okay,
Okay.
that was not your time.
Well, we addressed all the road issues at that time, but, when the issue came up, surveys and all the qualifications, the county didn't have the. So we just bumped it down the road to y'all. Because we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
We didn't have a full-time surveyor. There was no way we could have ever afforded to have done it.
And it seems like every year we look at the list, Joe, that you were just looking at with the classification. And my feeling is every year we look at that and we agree to it. But we never have gotten down to the stems and seeds of it, what do we truly have a survey? Is it truly, I drive Tucson a lot. And there are places where there's nowhere close to the width that you're talking about. So that was part of
That's basically all the county roads.
Right.
They're widened, they narrow, depending on the terrain. And, without a county surveyor, without resources, there was no way we could have ever done it. And you're gonna be faced with the same thing too.
Well, we, on our conversation, Blair and I were on, we actually are asking them, right, to find the survey if there's one in existence. If not, my expectation as commissioners, before they ever touch that road, we need to make sure that we're on county property. And we may not have honored that over the years, but that doesn't make it right. So now if we've got these billions of dollars with the contractor, then do the deep research and tell us what is the county road, right, Bridget?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to even go wider.
For all of you that, if you may not know, for the time being, the county road administrator, there's only one section of the road that, in my opinion, has been done according to county law and according to Texas. And that's a portion of Casa Fiera Road between the community of Casa Fiera and a portion of the range. That section, the requirement clearly states, need to provide survey plat of the proposed road, existing road, plus construction plan, with all the information related according to Texas Department of Transportation. They did all of that. They pay for everything. The county received a good portion of road of approximately 1 mile. In good condition, drainage, everything. Time, the way it should be. That's the only portion that I remember.
So am I hearing you correctly? You're saying of all of our county roads, and how many miles do we have in Presidio County, no, we have a lot of miles in Presidio County and county roads, and only 1 mile of one road is surveyed correctly in accordance to the Texas Department of Transportation.
And it's approved commission.
And approved by the.
Well, I can speak, back when, before we were a unit, we were a road commissioner, and that 20 miles of the cheapest road was mine. And I can, without a doubt, there's some mean places down there where when it got washed out, or it wasn't as convenient you'd ask a landowner, would ask, can we go this direction? So there is no, the county road goes all over the place. See, I hired Jaime Barrow, who was living down there, and I'm the guy, I hauled the main tanker in there because the community before me had failed to maintain the road for 4 years, which is illegal. So anyway, now I'm just gonna say, I heard the other day they wanted to make a 50-mile-an-hour road. There ain't no damn way. Places to powder out. I've seen the pickup very plumb to the floorboards on Keystone Road. My son spent 30 days in an oil company down there, literally pulling trucks in and out with a bulldozer because it's just not. Yeah, Sandy and powder.
And this is what part of our conversation, Blair and I, and you correct me if I'm getting anything wrong. But this is what we were pointing out to the DHS and the CDP on our call Monday, is that we asked them if they had surveyed it. They have not surveyed it. And I think that DHS was actually shocked that the contractor had staged equipment and had already worked 0.9 miles in Jeff Davis County of Chisler Road without having anything in place. So
Richard, that's when the county needs to step in and get an injunction. You have to go to federal court and get an injunction about this.
We don't need to, they confirmed that they are not going to build any portion of the road off the city or county without them solicitors. So there, at this point, there's no reason to do it, because they haven't done anything
So
in the county.
Jeff Davis County needs to do it.
Jeff Davis County, that's our brother, sister county will support the same position that we're taking, but I can't speak for them. But as of right now, Blair was like stellar in pointing out all the concerns of the county during that call. And so we got assurances, and this is when we learned that the contractor would not be here, is because it's premature. Their act of putting equipment on Cheesebug, premature. So they know they have a lot of work to do, and we're expecting them to come back to us and talk to us again, but we have gotten assurances that nothing in Presidio County, no portion of Chisler Road in Presidio County will be touched.
Just ballpark, how many miles of county road do you maintain?
About 300 miles.
And I'll say, yesterday I had a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and in attendance was Senator Quinn and Judge Pennington from Brewster County, Judge Evans from Jeff Davis, Judge McKenzie from Hudspeth County, Judge Dale Carruthers from Terrell County, and myself, and all of our sheriffs accompanied us. In attendance also was the Chief of the Customs Border Protection, Michael Banks. And just things for some clarification, they said that the construction company moving equipment down here was premature and was not authorized. And we recognized that they shouldn't have done that. So, some of it, and I'll tell you, it was a very, in my opinion, a very constructive meeting. It was a very constructive meeting. We had good conversations. According to Mr. Banks or Chief Banks, the priority now is everything is still, I would say, preliminary. So their number one priority is you, the landowners. They want to meet with you, and there's a bunch of you. And all of you are gonna have different stances, different likes, different wants. They went over some of the other options. Obviously, And we won't see it until we see it, or we won't believe it until we see it, but we've heard of the virtual wall. One of the things we asked for, well, that's good. What does a virtual wall look like? We'd like some illustration. I mean, we don't want all your top secret stuff, but tell us what it's gonna look like, what kind of impact. Some of the other things was, modifications of the wall. In some instances, it would even be appropriate what they call, these are walls to prevent just autos from going down. And those are just 4-foot tall barriers. In some instances, they're looking at a 30-foot, ballard style wall that obviously nobody wants. So all those things are still, I'll tell you, the counties that are probably now more at risk is portions of Terrell County all the way to my veteran. So I made note of the guy visiting us from driving. So we should be worried. And then Presidio, from Presidio all the way to, Hudspeth County, and then Hudspeth County all the way to El Paso. So, but I'm in close contact with Judge McKenzie, and we're in, to how to, again, continue, solving this issue of no wall.
Joe, can I add something?
Please.
Just for everybody's information, there's a lawsuit that was filed April 7th. Lawsuit targets federal plans of walls off Big Bend in Texas. The Center for Biological Diversity and the Texas Civil Rights Project sued U.S. Customs and Border Protection today for withholding public records on plans to build border walls through the Big Bend region of Texas. The only way we're going to stop this is not only a protest, it's going to have to be some legal action in the federal courts. Yeah. So these people have already started, but they're going to need help. They're going to need money. And so y'all might think about that. I think I'll send it to Rob. Maybe he can put some in the paper so everybody will know more information about it. Yeah.
I'm gonna be, and I'll tell you, we're under no obligation to acknowledge at this portion someone from the audience. So I want to be very careful. I hope you believe we were very generous with public comments. And we allowed everyone that wanted to speak. So in the, I guess, to move this forward, it's now about to be new. We haven't tackled any of our agenda items. So, I got it on the list, the petition wants to open it up back to the audience, but I want to get back to where we were at on 15.
So on 15, I'm looking through my action, whenever CPP said that your contract report coming this Wednesday, it gave me the grace of time to spend more time with it, once there's a lot of posts to go through before I can put together a procedure. So I will come with that in the future. Also, like I said, the CPP admitted they have a lot more work to do before taking the other plan. So if anyone has any more questions for me, great. If not, I think we can hear a motion to table this.
I'd like to make a motion that we table item number 15.
I have a motion.
I think
I have a motion. I have a second. Is there any other discussion on the commission? All those in favor say aye. We'll move on to agenda item number 16. Presentation, discussion with action to approve the use modification reconstruction by federal contractors on Fort and Road. And these are technically, yeah, we cross over, but commission.
Yeah, so, we have flushed this out as much as we possibly can right now. So I would really like to, just, make another motion that, all of y'all know how to get a hold of us if you have any concerns. And I, for one, want to hear from you. But I am gonna make a motion to table this since we're not having any kind of presentation. We've had the discussion.
we can't take an action because of, we tabled number 15, which was tied into that. Does that make sense to you, Judge? So that's my motion. I'm moving to table item number 16.
I have a motion and I have a second by, Commissioner Knight. And then just, I'll tell you in a nutshell, what I took away from, my meeting yesterday with Sandra was that, and Cindy acknowledged it, the lower extended ground, they're gonna pause, they're gonna slow down a little bit, they're gonna be reaching out to you individually. Eventually they've assured me that there will be public hearings, and it will be more, open to the public for us to have, discussions with them. So I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Now, I'd like to go with 17 just so that we can release the group. So number 17 is discussion with action to approve the use of the Presidio County Courthouse lawn for a rally by the No Deal End Wall group on April 20th of 2026. I believe y'all came forward and asked me if that was potential. Our courthouse lawn is considered common space. And I've been to a few of your rallies and I see how peaceful and loving David Keller, this can be. So I would like to ask that, we move forward and we approve the use.
Are you gonna read artists? So I guess my bigger things is whoever's going to, do this, like to make sure that the market reads the second note, right? That there's no obstruction of the road. Roads are gonna be open and free. Obviously before, but if you would, David, if you would like to share with me. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make a quick comment. If the group that is handling this, please treat this as like the national park back in, back out. We do not have, trash facilities here. We only have one maintenance man. Please do not leave your trash here. Maybe it's a problem. It's not there. So when y'all come, please give yourself your bring your own trash cans, take your own trash out.
Are you working with the person that
No, what the judge is asking is the same thing that we ask for any group that uses our lawn, where we've spoken to, that's the same language for anyone that uses our yard. So I will, if this is approved, I'll make sure that I know that's all right.
Maybe a time starting, I believe that people were filing in the morning and people were passive. Just something else.
I wanna say, just use it respectfully. This is the people's house. We'll treat it that way.
Well, and this is only for use of the lawn.
Right, I know,
This
but I'm
isn't
just
for
saying,
use-
the whole thing is people's house, it's a lawn and all that, so use it respectfully. Don't treat it like your house. Treat it like it's your home, you know?
Do I have a motion?
You have a second.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
It was 11:57 a.m. and we're on our Houston.
Yeah. We just got started.
Yeah, now it's time for me to go to goats. You know how that goes.
Bien, bien, nomás estoy, me designaron commissioner y estamos sentados. Vamos a empezar con el cuarto.
Very good, yeah.
All right, it was 12:10 p.m. And the Commissioners Court is back with session. And wrapped up with agenda item number 17. So I'll make a motion to return back to our regular agenda. We were asked if people would have on the phone, you can see how it goes with this. Yeah.
Number 7? Yeah, I'll speak on that agenda item.
So I entertain a motion to move this around.
I move that we start out our afternoon session with agenda item number 7 and then we'll put number 8 and then go back to the original.
I have a motion, I have a second. And all in favor?
Aye.
So we'll start with agenda item number 7. It's a discussion of action to approve a resolution to accept a donated parcel in Shafter. So, it's an item brought by Union Craig Roper, to the Pursuit County Groundwater Conservation District. I understand he's in a meeting.
Yes, he has to step down. He couldn't wait any longer, so I think the resolution is on the drive. It's just pretty basic standard to accept a donated parcel in Shafter. And it won't need all the, I believe the judge's signature.
This is, Trace been working on this for a long time. This is a donation of a parcel of land in order for them, to move forward with the EDAP water project in Shafter, to leave the land. It is extremely lovely and gracious, for Mr. Elms to donate his land to the county, for no money, right? It's what the donation is. We don't get that a lot in the city of county, so I think it's really great that we've got a citizen that's willing to do that, in order to provide for water supply and use of the county. I've taken a look at the resolution and it's great, and then the next time, I'll say it.
Yeah, it's pretty much what Blair said. This is regarding the EDAP project that the county has been working on. This is regarding the Shafter project. And thank you for your donation.
Judge, do you want to say anything about that?
Let's get it done. Yeah, Coach, just get it done.
And I'm sure all the studies have been done. I hope you guys. In water.
Yeah, say prayer.
Yeah, well, if you needed a couple of stairs to get up to heaven, I think you discussed a few. So, thank you very much for this. No, ever, no, my pleasure. And we're gonna continue moving forward. I know there's a lot of projects, some very light, some not so much light in Shafter. I love the way it's looking. And we'll continue to be part, from where we can for grant monies. Make sure you guys have an active, water.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all's doing it. And for helping all the community of Shafter, we need it. We need, security of water. I'm lucky I'm on the creek. I can pump the water out of the creek, but other people can't. So it's very important. Without water, there's no life. And, I was talking to the emergency management. Yes, and he was telling me about y'all are gonna donate a fire hydrant there, which they can use, the city of Marfa or the city of, in case there's a fire. But this is something that Poindexter needs to be aware of. We need to be made aware that if we have this, we might want to extend the fire hydrants over to his new building, in that area of town. Maybe he'll pay for it, because it's something he's gonna need. In the event that something happens, we still have it available. And, it'll help our, insurance rates. We have the highest rates every month. But you were working on a plan also of the flood zone and stuff. If that's still going, is it over or finished?
No. Not even close. Trying to get, here's the thing, you reach the right environmental or governmental entity, and you visit with them, and then we come back and can't find it. And I don't care if it's international environment. Or it doesn't matter. So all we can do is keep it with you. But we do need, there are large portions of that. It hasn't been replatted for flooding since, since they redid the levee. It hasn't been done. So the data that these insurance companies use it's inaccurate.
Yes.
It's inaccurate. Well, and you're right, it would save everybody a ton of money.
Maybe, this is a project our friend in common could help with. Maybe.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution to accept the donated parcel.
Motion and second, all in favor? Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Do I need to sign the paper?
Yes, sir. That's the next agenda. Yeah, the next one more agenda item.
Oh.
The next one.
Oh, the next.
Yeah, the next one you will sign it.
Okay.
So I think we have to read a resolution in order for it to be official. Yeah, y'all stuck me with the last one. Resolution to accept donated parcel in Shafter. Whereas the City of County Commissioners Court obtained funding from the Economic Releases Areas Program of the Texas Water Development Board for the planning, acquisition, and design of a new water system to the town of Shafter. And whereas said new water system will require the acquisition of land for the construction of a production well and water tower. And whereas Mr. Monroe Elms has agreed to donate the necessary parcel to the county for the construction of said production well and water tower. And whereas a survey of said parcel is attached to this resolution, it is. And whereas section 81.032 of the Texas Local Government Code provides that Presidio County Commissioners Court is the proper party to accept such a donation. Now therefore, it is provided that the Presidio County Commissioners Court hereby accepts the donation of said parcel. passed and approved and adopted by the Presidio County Commissioners Court this 8th day of April 2026.
Yay, thank you.
Agenda item number 8, discussion of action to approve a special warranty for particle chapter going, Mr. and previous county judge Monroe County for the chapter public water supply production well and water tower.
So, I was supposed to draft this and one of the apology to Trey, by the time he thought I needed the survey to do it, which was January 26th, and I gave it for January 11th.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what I did, I told Trey, you can't wait for you to come back, we're going to good. Here's what I recommend, attorneys out of San Angelo, I've worked with very closely. We're really great real estate attorneys, and I'm looking at this, and this was a beautifully done, and I'm very proud to see this. One thing that's important to know about this warranty is it does contain a reversionary clause, which says that if the production of water well, water tower, and fire hydrant on the property is not done within 10 years of the date of the deed, which will be today, April 8th, then the property will automatically revert back to the grant, or in this case, this is important. Reversionary clauses are really rare indeed, so something I want to make sure everyone is aware it exists in this situation. And it also states that within 10 years, the deed of the property sold, is exchanged, or otherwise transferred for any purposes contrary to the terms. Without Mr. Monroe's written consent, the property will automatically revert to him. So essentially, we have 10 years from today to do the construction of this water project on this property, or there will be an automatic reversion of this property. So
Claire, I think we changed that to 5.
I was gonna say-
5 years.
That will be a modification for it to trade from the 10-year to a 5-year.
do we have that?
I am not sure if he added it.
It was sent to Trey.
I'm looking at, does anyone have a different version? Like,
Where are you on that?
Where's the one that carries?
page 2 of the.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a deed that he sent me, but there might be a different version in the drive, does it say?
Yeah, it should be 5 years.
Does it say 5 years in the drive?
I don't know, but that's what I spoke to Trey about.
That's fine with me also, as long as they can do construction with the 5 years.
So let me get this right, the changes are 5 years.
Yes,
Yes,
And then,
Great.
we have 5 years to get it done.
Yeah, get it done.
And if you use it for any purpose that it was not intended, that
Right.
you wish, it goes back to you.
Exactly.
That
Yes,
makes complete sense.
And you know where I got this? I got this from, the mine used to have the school, and the county the county superintendent, the county judge used to be the superintendent of the school in Chapter. So they needed land, the mine gave them the land, and then they said at any time, if the school closes for whatever reason, that land goes back to the county. Excuse me, to the mine, if the county closes the school. So that's where I got that
So
idea.
the documents you just signed, did they say 5 years?
I just signed my name.
It should have said 5 years.
Okay.
And just, on another note, this will be paid, we had to hire external attorneys to do this. This will be paid from EDAP grant.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then the other thing to bring up that's very special about this deed is that the consideration, right, rather than the county paying for this property, our consideration of payment of the property is that the grantor, Mr. McDonald's, will have a perpetual right to receive and use water from the public water supply for free at no cost, as long as he and his heirs own that property that is directly adjacent to this piece of property. So they will, that's their consideration for giving the land, conveying the land, is free water use.
Yeah, that's what we did with Candelaria. The ladies that own the store, they they gave us, land, and we gave them free water. Same thing in Ruidosa, the same thing in Bedford,
You gave it to them and their heirs.
and them and their heirs.
David, that's something you're gonna have to deal with, the county road.
Yeah.
And the one you signed is a 5-year one.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve a special warranty deal fee for parcel and chapter donated by Mr. Monroe Elms to the Shafter Public Water Supplies Production Well and Water.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Second. I have a motion, second, on favor? Aye. Thank you. And let's hope we can get this done. And septic tanks also, needs some septic tanks. We're working on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Next, the copy that you sent, I don't have the front page.
I didn't welcome you. Welcome.
Okay, the 5 years.
You didn't what?
Okay. No, the one he signed?
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, the.
Thank you, Monroe.
Thank you all. Okay.
How many cities are involved before you leave? If we had accepted this document, our hundred comprehensives. Maybe because even the ones that are in there, most are not Chicago. It's like
The county had a program, we on the other, I took one in, it's been our property, and I need like 2 million. And I know that's 3. And then there's other people also. Ruben's got a list. Yeah. So, but time to update it, and if there's any money available anywhere, we can use it. And it's not just us, people in Redford, you know, we need to protect the river from getting sewer and everything else. Yeah, we're next to the bridge. Yeah, and, we need, Ruben to inspect all the stuff too, you know. He's got a busy list.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you all. You know.
English one.
Yeah, I will.
Yes, sir.
On the deed.
Yeah, we've already done.
Agenda item number 1, discuss and take action to approve budget amendments and or
Yes, sir. So today I do have budget amendments in line item transfers. I'll start with the budget amendments. The first one is to the Presidio County Sheriff's Office is requesting a budget amendment of $18,060 to be added to their fiscal year 2026. I'm sorry, I left 25, but it's 2026 abandoned vehicle budget to the other services line in capital outlay. And this funds will come from the revenue earned from the impounded vehicles and auction proceeds. And it will be used to pay for services to the Marfa Police Department share of impounded vehicles. It will cover costs for the months of October 2025 through March 2026.
Discussion, motion?
Well, I believe we have to use a special motion that you gave us.
It's recommended, yeah.
Right. I move that the Presidio County Commissioners Board confirm the county auditor's certification of available funds and due to unforeseen circumstances, hereby increase the abandoned vehicle revenue and expenditure budgets in accordance with the attached budget amendment form.
How much money they, collect, do you know?
For the impounded?
Yeah.
So, it's an MOU between the city of Marfa and the department, and I think it's a share of, 60-40, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I may be mistaken. So for every auction or every impound vehicle, the sheriff gets a part of that, and then the city of Marfa gets
And we
another.
don't know how much they.
Oh,
they-
Shauna's here, she probably knows a little more than I do. Oh, we can't hear
You're
you,
still on
Shauna.
mute, Shauna.
Sorry, good morning. What exactly is your question? You want to know the total for impounded vehicles? You want to know the auction revenue?
They got, in this last, auction that you guys had, I think it was last week.
Yeah, so we brought in 25,900. If you want to know the breakdown between, sheriff's office, county general fund, PD, I mean, I can give you that as well. Give me 1 second.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so the sheriff's office totals 10,820. The Marfa PD total for impounded vehicles, 3,120. The sale of surplus city vehicles, so the total for city of Marfa is 7,660. And then there's 4,300 going to the county general fund, which was for 2 surplus county vehicles owned by the county.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? I think we have to. Right. We have, I'm made, or we will get budget and budgets. We're motion and a second, all in favor?
So the next budget amendment is again to the Presidio County Sheriff's Office. They received Leo's funds in the amount of $4,441.75 on March 6, 2026. For the use by Presidio County Sheriff's Office. This revenue was not anticipated during the budget process. Leo's funding is to be used exclusively for law enforcement education and training. It may not be spent, it may not be used to plan funds normally budgeted in the general fund. Funding in future years is contingent upon the use of this funds.
I'm gonna move that the City of County Commissioners Court confirm the county auditor certification of available funds and due to unforeseen circumstances hereby increase the layout revenue expenditure budget of amount of $4,441.75, each in accordance with the attached budget amendment form.
I have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. So I do have line item transfers. The first one's to the commissioners, to the commissioner's communication line. This is in Commissioner Heisler's office. She's moving this money, $400 from the medical insurance, to cover communications costs for her office in the second floor for the remainder of the fiscal year 2026. This money is used from her own personal insurance. The next one's to the JP2 labor line, $100 from education and travel, and this is to cover the overdrawn labor line in her office. The next one's to the treasurer's office, furniture and equipment, $1.49 from other services, and this is to cover an invoice for the purchase of the printer. The next one's for the courthouse service contract licenses, $5,143.73 from capital outlay. And this is to cover the elevator maintenance contract, which was unbudgeted this year. And our county attorney reviewed our contract and she advises that it's probably better for us to continue paying that old contract with 2016 or 2012 budget amount than in 2026 funds. The next one's for the Operation Lone Star, $83.50 to office expenses, $916.51 to operating supplies, and $5,476.50 to service contract licenses from capital outlay. And this is to cover supplies purchases and 5 years of licensing on dash cams for the 3 2025 Chevys. That's all the line item transfers.
I move that we approve the line item transfers as presented.
Motion?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Green.
Discussion and give action to approve the auditor and other.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm so
sorry. Yes, Commissioner, so I email you the auditor's monthly report with all the balances on our bank accounts. Any questions or concerns?
I have none.
I also added our investment accounts and our jail revenue and expense budget analysis.
I noticed we have an agenda item about potential more, jail revenue. Right?
I am not sure, I was not aware.
I'm sure Sean will see.
I believe that's Andrea.
Discussion, question? Action? I'll move that we approve the auditor's monthly report. I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jenna, I remember we discussed and take action to approve the treasurer's list of county.
Good morning, or I guess good afternoon now. The claims for this month, for this round of bills is $250,130.27. Now, we are in phase one to pay TK Elevator in the amount of $125,502. We're fixing a fixed part of the elevator, and we're hoping to get the rest of it going in a couple of weeks. And then we'll get the next invoice for the remainder of what we owe.
So we're not just waiting for the inspector, there's a little more to be done.
We are waiting for the inspector, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's on time. I think they're holding the hostage. I'm waiting, I'm pissed. When if you were a private company, if I go hire somebody with a job, I expect them to finish it and not paint. And they haven't sent them up inspect. And they're holding the hostage.
I didn't know, I think the inspector had already given it in December.
So-
No,
Yeah, but is it the same people at the company?
I believe that the inspector has to come back because we're doing something new to the elevator and getting it updated. They have to come back to make sure that it works.
Will they notify him or do we have to?
No, TK does all that.
Okay.
They're holding the hostage, basically.
Yes.
Because without bringing the inspector, they're supposed to bring and finish it. But until we sign that change order
And this is all about the storage material.
storage fees and all this, that's not here, I just think that we have to do it or we're gonna not get it on there. Here would be some sort of a legal matter.
The contract requires storage fees anyway, so we're already using required to pay storage fees.
Right.
What I have. This is for.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just.
He's saying that.
Another.
Yeah, he's saying that the change order is the big point.
I'll get off my soapbox.
I asked to get a date of inspection, and it was explained to me that we can't because the inspectors have to surprise you, otherwise it's not really. I guess it's kind of like a health inspector, it's not really the point, we know that they're coming, which I guess makes sense, but.
We don't have any, why would they sprout, because we don't have any control over it anyway. You know,
I don't even think it's on.
Yeah.
I've seen people push buttons, the button.
No,
It's not even on. I think it's turned on.
They can do it after the inspection.
So bottom line is we have to pay it.
Yeah, so this is the amount of $125,000 in phase one.
That's in the contract, that's part one of the work. We haven't raised the second, invoice.
Okay.
What about that? That's it.
I feel like you're holding this problem.
I move that we approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills, even though it's a big roll call.
Yeah. Living into the work minutes.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and action to approve treasury monthly report.
I don't know if you had a chance to upload it on the,
Yes, I
to
did.
the drive. I apologize to Carrie. I didn't get this to her till probably 6 o'clock, yesterday afternoon. But the beginning balance for the general fund is of March was $2,615,822.58. Debits and withdrawals for that month was $826,718.04. Monies coming in to the general for the month of March is $1,225,926.57. Ending balance for the end of March was $3,031.21. The amount as of yesterday that we have actual money in the bank is $3,108,764.60.
I move we approve the treasurer's monthly report as presented.
I second.
And you will not see the savings because we don't have that in the Marfa National Bank savings anymore. That will be invested.
You better,
Discussion and action to approve the previous commissioners report meeting.
I reviewed those and, February 11th looked great. I was not there for the February 17th or 25th, but I'm assuming those were fine. The, March 11th is incorrect and needs to be corrected. Yeah, I hate to tell you that, but it is item number 11, discussion with action to approve mutual aid prior in this agreement between the counties. You're saying it was, it passed 5-0. We have to table that because the auditor brought up to us that she did not like that there wasn't some kind of language in there if we are sharing equipment, who is responsible for the. So if you could just put table on that, and I realize that I'm gonna have to work on bringing that back to you. So that's the only thing that I saw, y'all. So I guess unless someone else wants to jump in there, I would move to approve Commissioners Court meetings for February 11th, February 17th, February 25th, and March 25th. And amendments need to be made to March 11th as discussed.
I'll second. I have a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Then I'm going to take up six updates and reports from Lone Star Strike Group.
You still have Ramon and
He said he's still on.
Ramon.
Good afternoon, Judge. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Okay, so basically in your drive, you'll find a report. The report has a table that kind of specifies what grants that we've been working on, either awarded or, something is still in progress. The first one is HB 500, Water Infrastructure Project Funds. This was discussed last meeting when Ms. Yvette Utley came by and visited. And that one is still in progress. We have received some verbiage or samples that for the RFQ on engineering, that was an agenda item last time as well. And we sent it to the county auditor just in case we can help with anything with that. And if she has any other requests, to just let me know. The second thing you'll see on there is the community appropriation funds. This is from Congressman Tony Gonzalez. This was also approved, I believe, last meeting. And we went ahead and submitted it successfully in March of 26. The priority at the time was made for the Law Enforcement Center. The next thing on this table is the RLEM project. So basically this grant has been awarded for some time, and we are currently on this agenda item on this agenda waiting for a contract approval. So that is pending. And then the last one, the TCQ Regional Solid Waste Program, the Rio Grande Council of Governments opened up this program not too long ago, and we were awarded for it. I will give you some detail and context on it. This is probably the second time that we get awarded some funds from this program. This program is for anything solid waste to help, whether it's just alleviating some burdens. For example, the first time that we got this grant, it was taken into consideration by Commissioner Beebe at the time and Judge Portillo to use those funds and help the city of Presidio with their tire program. Basically collecting all those tires, the excess that they had. And this time, I basically did it where I could calculate it evenly between Marfa and Presidio. But again, you know, the award is there and it'll come back to the judge and whoever else is needed on how to use these funds. But basically the structure was put out there for another tire collective. And basically the county applies and gets these funds to add as a supplement and just to help out.
Thank you, Ramon, for that update. Is the solid waste, those monies, will they be available for other cleanup projects?
Yes, so what was already submitted, that's what it has to be. But Ms. Marisa Quintanilla does have different other programs. If the question is if these funds can be used for something else, I would say no, because it's already been obliged to whatever was put in the grant program. And I can get y'all a copy of that if y'all need it.
Well, we're looking at tackling cleanup projects especially along the highway. I know it's of interest. There's been a lot of people are talking about how unattractive Presidio is as you drive through. And not for this go around, those are dedicated, but these are funds that you guys have successfully gotten for us 2 years now.
Yes.
So it may be something that we look at next go around.
I'll make a note of that. And I think what I plan on doing is I've been doing some more research on TxDOT, and there's some really good grant programs that are out there. I'm going to do more research on it, but this one, it kind of goes into a lot of that cleanup that you just mentioned, especially right on their highways. For example, going into Presidio and Las Pampas. But then there's also some for road paving and all of that, but more on that later.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Ramon, you will provide us with some of the parameters so that if we come up with any other projects, we can share that with you. Not for this grant, but. Say that again.
You sound muffled. If you want to repeat that again, please.
Sure. So you will be providing us with the parameters of future grants. So if there are other projects we want to look at, you can share them with you.
I will provide. Correct. I will provide information on any other opportunities that come out and some that I've already been researching.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you, last year, the vast majority of that money we moved to the city of Presidio to help them. They still have a horrible tire problem, and it still continues now because with the influx of the traffic drivers, these vehicles are bringing the 10 years old. They're coming on tires that literally have run off track. So they did a lot of flat tires, they had blowouts. They go and look for new, a lot of them carry their used tires, and they just replace them. They need their old, whatever they say, and they come off. We even have, like I mentioned it before, I think we had 2.2 million visitors across the port of entry and Presidio. When people take their grandmother an old refrigerator or stove, and you do use tires, and very often times at the port of entry, they get turned back if the inspector deems that they're not roadworthy. So they come back, we're not gonna go all the way back to Odessa. They're gonna find a nice dumpster, throw them in there, and then they're gonna head back into Mexico. And so again, it's a problem. Not that they're unruly, it's just by chance that there's an international port there, and this is a lot of the traffic that goes through there, so. They made a lot of, advances for almost zero now. But if you drive by where the tax center is, into a field, and where the water treatment plant is, you'll now have a designated area just for tire. And I don't know, it looks like about the size of a half a football field, and it's already almost full.
Well, I noticed that y'all must have cleaned up, on 170. I think it's Norma Arroyo's property. It had tires all along that fence line. And I guess you tackled that the last time, Ramon, on 170, all those tires.
So the city of Presidio spearheaded that effort. That may have been some of the tires that they picked up. But, currently, at their water treatment facility, they still have many, many more that were collected, but they haven't been picked up. And inside of this program, that's basically, collection, but also taking it back to a vendor that picks up these tires.
I don't know if you guys remember, but last year, we approved a program where, Jeff Davis, Brewster, and Presidio County were gonna combine their monies and buy a shredder. And that shredder was gonna be centrally located in Markham, and then we would just collect our tires, bring them here and have them shredded. But I understand that fell through.
That is correct. We had convened, the Tri-County had actually convened with Judge Hennington and different parties and organizations, but unfortunately it fell through. Not sure exactly what part didn't come through, but that was one opportunity that was kind of a conjoined application under this same program.
Right, and clearly Presidio has the greatest need for everything you just described. I've been there when everyone's lined up from the county to their own place.
Yes.
So, all right, thank you, Ramon.
Thank you.
It was great to see you in Austin too.
So we'll move on to agenda item number 9, discuss what happened for agreement. Presidio County regarding housing, Presidio County prisoners in the Hudson County Jail per diem rate has changed from $75 a day to $65 a day.
So we're taking our prisoners to Boston.
We've always had this many cases in jail needs, taking prisoners, that's just, they don't bring.
I have somebody that is basically good.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, if something blows up there, they have to move them, then we can go
The price looks like it's. That's a good thing.
I think it's a big place though.
Yeah, it's the same agreement as
Yeah.
fire, the only difference was the rest is over.
Any questions for the sheriff's office?
I can't hear any of the discussion going on, but I'm here and it's just we house our prisoners there at Hudspeth in case of an emergency, or if there is a case where we have co-defendants that cannot be housed in the same facility, Hudspeth will house that person or persons for us. It's been several years since we've had to house anyone there, thankfully. But Hudspeth did change the contract to decrease the per diem rate from 75 to 65.
Yeah, I move we approve the interlocal agreement between Hudson County and Presidio County regarding the housing of Presidio County prisoners in the Hudson County Jail. Per diem rate changed from $75 mandated to $65 mandated.
All second, motion second, all in favor?
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you all.
Agenda item number 10, discussion with action to approve the contract change order request for elevator and field storage receipt 5 months. The total amount is $16,470.59.
Yes, sir, so this is what Commissioner and I was talking about earlier. The amount for the storage fees from October until when they started the project here was $16,470.59. I had a discussion with our county attorney, and our contract does say that they charge for storage fees. The original agreement was that those materials were gonna be delivered to the courthouse. They were gonna be stored here until the project was done. That unfortunately never happened. We had a delay because when they first started the project, they requested a variance from the THC. We got the variance, so that's what the delay in the process of getting the elevator started was. We've had the discussion of these fees, like Commissioner Knight said, we're kind of being held hostage because of this change order here. So I communicated with the county attorney and she said, you know, pretty much you have to pay it. So we're stuck on that.
No, I don't think there's any, I do believe we're being held hostage, but besides, I don't think there's any charge. Particularly if you want to help out here,
Almost like ransom money. Yeah.
But 14,000 for storage? Yeah, and that percentage is just because we haven't paid it.
So what happened, they came in October saying that they were gonna start the project. One other person, I am not sure who it was, said, well, we can't really start because you have an agreement with the Texas Historical Commission. They need to approve a variance. This took many months in the working, so they never delivered the materials to the courthouse where they should have been delivered. They kept it in a storage facility. So that's the cost of the storage fees from October until March when they started the project.
Yeah, I think. What is the, I'm curious, OH and P 15%? What does that mean?
Another month's worth of rent.
Maybe that's the truth.
Yes, sir. Pretty much any charge that they think it's the county owes for the storage of the materials.
Yeah, the contract stated what, $100 per day after 10 days.
And this was cheaper, right?
Well, I don't know what day started, so I don't know. What's cheaper? This is cheaper based on because they boil it down per month.
Right.
And then the per month amount was based on a 28-day month. Obviously, we know most months don't have 28 days. So based on that, the amount is cheaper, although I don't know the answers for that fee line item was. But the question is, I just don't know what the starting date was for when they started storing the.
Right.
So I can't say whether it would have been cheaper if we went by the original contract per day or not.
The storage date was the day that they came and they couldn't start the project.
We get 10 days after that.
Yeah.
We get 10 days free on contract, basically storage after 10 days, we start being assessed $100 a day.
You know, and I'm not gonna defend them, I will not defend them, but, I go back, we have a one in the state of Texas elevator. We did fall under the historical commission rules. So, and I wouldn't want to do something over here. Number one, they special order this stuff. Number two, they come and store it, and then the historical commission says, no, we don't like that. And they gotta come back and get it. They don't have a use for it, so all in all, it's getting done.
It's getting done, yes, you're right.
I would love to, but I don't think I'll do me good.
I think maybe that we approved contract change order request with elevator that we fees through 5 months. Total amount $16,470.59.
On first one.
I'm gonna joke on it, but I'll still.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners and Judge. Sorry.
Agenda item number 11, a discussion with action to approve Ramon Rodriguez construction. New contract order to finish the road and bridge yard in Presidio. Taking the come out of the R&B labor line, which was a line item transfer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you did move $40,000 to finish the new, what's called the new yard in Presidio for Road and Bridge Department. Commissioner And, that payment, I believe is what,
25 fund.
25.5. It will come out of that labor line, and the remainder of those 40,000 will probably be used for materials that they need to finish all of this work. He has a copy of the agreement. I'm not sure if it's uploaded to the drive.
No.
No, I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
I was very happy. I drove by the new yard yesterday and I could tell y'all have been moving forward on it. I saw, Ramon Senior over there and Ruben, so I think this is great and full support.
Do you have, did he give you a timeline?
No, he didn't. That's why, we talked about not getting the other because they didn't have a plan that they were gonna charge us on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
They can go with that for a year. So this guy's gonna do from top to bottom, turning the key and it should be ready to move. It's detailed on the estimate.
I think it's a very fair contract. And if he's a little fat on the bone or, because we know they need other things. We know they need a secure fence, a gate. You and I drove that yard the other day, it needs to be leveled out. So maybe there's some other things we can do with the remainder that there isn't.
And with this, we did work out that the two other employees that were being paid, are they still on our payroll?
They weren't on payroll up until Monday, I believe. They will no longer be working on this project. If Ruben finds it necessary to do any other type of labor work, he will have to come back to the court to request, to move any more funds for that.
Okay.
It's time to do this. If I recall, over the several years, money has been allocated to do that, and something happened out of all their next. So it's time. It's free.
I'd like to make a motion for Ramon Rodriguez to do contract work to finish the road and bridge new yard in video. Payment to come out of road and bridge labor line as previously approved.
All in favor? Okay, congratulations. And I look forward.
Thank you, Obed.
Agenda item number 12, discussion with action to approve a contract for engineering services for new CDBG 2026 CLC grant cycle.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. So, the RFQ was awarded to Centurion Planning, Surveyors, and Engineers. Because of, this grant has been ongoing, we are doing an agreement with them. The total amount that the engineers can charge us for the project is up to $85,000. You have a draft, the contract on your drive. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it on PDF. It was pretty late last night. But any questions regarding that, our county attorney did review the agreement. She made some changes and suggestions and that they have been added to this agreement. I am not sure if Marcy from Centurion is online, but she was busy today, so she might not be on Zoom right now. So any questions on the agreement, let me know.
I'm gonna move that we approve the contract with engineers and activities for new CDBG 2026 CFC grant cycle. Do I need to say up to $85,000?
No, I did forget to say that we will not be paying anything unless the grant is actually given to Presidio County. So all this is an agreement in advance of they'll be doing any require applications, and they will not get paid unless the grant is given to us. But they did want an agreement in place.
Grant is a no match grant.
Yes, sir. There's no match on this grant at this moment.
So we get it.
Yes.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion with action to approve a contract for grant administration services for new CDBG 2026 CRC grant cycle.
Okay, so there will not be a agreement contract for the administrative services with GrantWorks. They are very well versed in the CDBG, so they do not require an agreement to start the work. They know that they will not be getting paid unless the county does receive the grant. So they did not request to have an agreement in place at this moment. We'll probably, once, if the grant is given to the county, we'll come back with an actual agreement.
So no action.
Yes, sir.
I'm moving to action on item 13.
I second.
I have a motion and second, all in favor?
Thank you, Judge Commissioner.
Agenda item number 14, discussion with action to establish a committee to review and revise the employee personnel policy.
Commissioners, I just brought this up because, I've looked at our personnel policy and handbook and it's like super, just house cleaning. We need to really look at it. We need to make sure that we're falling under the guidelines and the law. I don't think it's really been looked at it's been added to and amended, but I don't think it's really been looked at as a whole. So that's why I brought it to see if, commissioners would approve a committee, which I would suggest, Shauna, somebody from the sheriff's office, Alicia, the auditor, a commissioner, Nancy, and myself.
I think I should be honest. I'm gonna be the one driving the policy.
Yeah, okay, you wanna be on it?
Yes, yeah.
I don't think so at this point. TAC, I've spoken to TAC HR, to Sharon, and she did send me, a policy that TAC has that we can kind of follow. I just like, the sheriff's office they have TFL rules and they've got all this other stuff going on, so I really would like Shauna to be on it. And then a commissioner, so that they kind of know what's happening throughout the policy. Of course, the auditor's office, myself, I'm in charge of the policy. And I added, Nancy. And then Blair wants to be on it.
And I'll tell you, it's not uncommon for law enforcement entities to have their own independent.
Yeah, I was gonna.
So it's something that you guys can at least discuss and explore if that's a viable option.
I agree, because even our salary schedule has a lot of things that says about, is that just happening?
Just clarify this, there used to be a committee for the personnel policy, I think, anybody ever got together at some point? So we do want to follow a sample, personnel policy provided by TAC, and that would be the easiest way to go. And then modify for procedural, county requirements. The sheriff office, they do have their own rules and regulations, so.
Yeah, because they're probably different.
They have things, their work schedule is so modified, they're so unique. And they're FSLA exemptions to comp time if they want it, if they don't want it, overtime. So everything is very unique. So it might be something that would serve them better, and they don't get mucked up with our what, quote unquote standard work policy.
Do y'all want the timeline on this? I won't hear the.
I know, because we want to get it done before the budget.
Well, and that's what that's my next, that's the reason I want to bring it up so early, is because if we want to try to do before budget, I don't know what budget is gonna look like, but we're hoping that during that time, we can bring it and go ahead and adopt it and start the new fiscal year with that new policy. I don't know if you've seen our policy online. It's close to 100 pages. It has commissioner court minutes, like from the beginning to the end. It's crazy. So I think we need to clean that up.
Yeah, it's too up because, in January, I had a meeting to add a maternity leave policy to our employee policy that is, basically the same as what the state's, leave policy is, because the state does have a maternity leave policy now. And then, I happened to go labor early, so I couldn't actually discuss it with them. So when I got that, I emailed Laura, I went to the office and said, can you send me our policy in Word so I can add, that and bring it to Commissioner's Court? And she was like, the policy, have you seen it? It's crazy. There's like commissioner minutes attached to it. It's a super long. I said, I think what might be better then is instead of just amending it, I will just do an entire amended and restated, just one policy clean. And subsume all the prior amendments into one document. Basically, completely clean it up to be more modern, because I'm sure it's from the originals from decades.
I think it's from 2010.
Yes. So that was kind of what initiated this.
Donna, are you okay with being on the committee with us?
Yes, ma'am, that's fine. I was on the committee like in 2016 or something with Patty, and yep, so it's fine.
Okay.
I know you're supposed to be on, I don't know if we need a commission on, or a judge.
It's up to the commissioner.
I mean, I don't necessarily need to be on the committee, but if I'm gonna be helping with the actual drafting part, I'll at least need to be part of that.
Sounds like the goal is to get a general, tax approved policy.
Yes.
And then kind of just go through it and determine is this needed for us? I mean, if we're talking about chopping down pine trees, we're good to go, we don't have pine trees. So, and we can just kind of piecemeal with that.
Yeah.
The county's supposed to have an FMLA policy, we don't have that.
Yeah.
It's insinuated because it's the law, not county policy, but it's just the law in general. But little things, not little things like that, but things like that that need to be implemented that aren't being implemented, and information that the employee should have that when you read through that, you don't even know what you're reading through. So I think it's very important that we clean this up.
And it's not realistic for people look at the amendment that was done in December 2018 and attached on page 112, and that's just, we're getting kind of silly with this, so it needs to be overhauled.
No, I agree, and I go back and I'll just emphasize, all of you out, they're living documents. And when you look at them, it's a version or a snapshot of that time frame. And then a year passes and it should at least be looked at by the thing. Again, something placed on a calendar, go back, could not spend weeks and weeks on it, just kind of breeze through it. Or bring up things that have happened and should be considered adding.
And laws change.
I was on a committee, actually I redid the policy for the criminal investigations division. And in that policy, they still have the procedures for handling cassette tapes. Yeah, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, when was the last time, can we even have a cassette player? No, we don't have that anymore. And we just, now that's also CDs, we venture out into CDs, but you can see what happens when there's something not happening. So I'm all for it. I'll gladly sit on the committee if you guys would have it.
Okay. So right now we have Blair, Alicia, myself, Shauna, the judge. And I would like to add another elected.
Yeah.
I said Nancy. Is Nancy okay with the court? Okay.
Yeah, right.
Then I will let Nancy know that she was voluntold. And that will be the committee if somebody will make a motion.
How many members?
We have 6 right now
That's an even number.
on that committee.
I hate that.
I know.
It's fine, it's fine with me, it's big stuff.
Yeah, it's just for a committee input.
Right.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we establish a committee to review and revise the employee personnel policy as discussed.
Second. I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor? We'll move on to agenda item number 13, discussion of action to approve a contract with project manager for local leaders for economic mobility and further to local job creation with the Texas Pacific Railroad. So this is that grant we've been working on, man, that was a lot of work. But basically what it is, this is one of the final steps. So we're at a point where we identified a qualified candidate, who's gonna be the project manager. In short, her duties are to be our timing board or with and working in lockstep with them. Again, what we're trying to avert, what we're trying to avert is Texas Pacific vote that is headquartered out of San Angelo and out of Chihuahua City, Mexico, that one has on the Mexican side. For them to move temporary employees into the Presidio Guard and along that rail system from the Presidio Guard to Stockton and bring San Angelo workers. I don't have anything against the good people. But we did the whole objective of this is to create local jobs so that money stays locally. We had recently Customs and Border Protection was awarded 27 new full-time employees. Where all of their job is going to be to inspect the rail cars as they come across. Just like we do right when you fly in an airplane, right? And of the 27 employees hired, these new positions that were created in Presidio, for zero are in the sea, zero. They're gonna have a median income of about $150,000. I can already tell you what's gonna happen. These guys are gonna come in from El Paso, Laredo, McAllen. They're gonna come here to Hardship Station. They're gonna spend 2 years. They're gonna hold their nose. And then they're gonna live in government housing. They're gonna meet every day off in town. And as soon as they have an opportunity, they're gonna do that. And we have this drain of employees. And this objective is to find qualified employees or people maybe not even qualified, actually not qualified. It's people that are willing to go and get certified through the Texas workforce according to the Texas Pacific Railroad standards. And hopefully those jobs will stay in this city. And we're in lockstep with what workforce is prepared to do and moving forward. So, for example, they're going to need a lot of welders, rail car doors, the rail cars themselves, the rail line itself. So, we already know what that means. We don't know. That's what they define the management. You know, kids will go and say, we're anticipating X number of trains per day to run through here. We're gonna need linemen, we're gonna need welders, we're gonna need diesel mechanics, we're gonna need the people to run at the track, make sure it's secure. We need signage people. So to identify all those positions and which ones we can fill.
We already spoke about Amanda at the last meeting, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is the review.
Right, there's a new agreement. There's a new agreement. Made changes to it this morning. I haven't heard back from Laura and Amanda on the changes. It says they sent you the changes, they sent an email. And they told me to put it in the commissioner's chart. Wait. This morning.
She was being changed.
Oh, they never found it, so, yeah. But I have real print, I have what, already. Right.
Someone sent it at just before 10 a.m. today.
Okay, and I sent it like 9:30, so that's.
Right, because we had some relations to that one.
Yeah.
Can you chime in? It's sort of hard to hear anyone, but basically this is what was talked about last meeting. There's a new agreement. We're good to go. I want to thank the county attorney and the county auditor for all their help and making the necessary changes. And that's pretty much what we're looking at. Same thing that we talked about last meeting. Miss Amanda Newton was online, but I don't think she was able to wait any longer. Um,
Well, we had to change from prior when, stated essentially that she would get paid 50 grand by, in a couple of weeks. But the county has a policy that we don't pay, it's county policy that we don't pay before work has been done. And so that was one of the major changes we had to do is in there that she sends invoices as she's doing the work for the work that she has done, as opposed to being prepaid before doing work. And then the termination clause, moved to where the county has the termination rights. And then I added boilerplate stuff, choice of law, and I know like lawyer things.
What threw a big monkey wrench in it is that our LEM, which gave us the grant, said you have to spend the money, I think, by a certain date. So again, it circumvents all of our wants and needs, but that's what they will.
Yeah. So now she sends an invoice.
What I told her mom is, she can send us her invoice for the amount that she's requesting for, and, the work that she did for that invoice. And then we'll go ahead and issue a check. We just can't in advance give her $50,000 without anything backing what she's done.
But we will be able to pay her before that.
Right. If she submits invoices to us on a weekly basis, or whatever the amount of the work she's. I think we have to spend $35,000 before April 30th. If she submits one invoice a week for the remainder of the month, or 2 invoices, whatever she wants to do that, for that amount, that's what we're gonna pay. We just can't pay 25 in advance.
And so Ramon, then we're okay
Yeah.
with the revisions that Blair said?
Yeah, I spoke to her mom this morning about that, and as long as she can start today, this is when the contract has been sent, and it was by Friday, and we can go ahead and start paying her.
I move that we approve the contract for project manager for RLEM Rural Leaders for Economic Mobility and furtherance of the local job creation for the Texas Pacifico Railroad as agreed.
I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor?
And if I may, I'll make one final comment. I did let the county attorney and the county auditor know that whatever they need on their end to go ahead with that. It was mentioned last meeting, these are all, NACO doesn't require anything like this, but they are county procedures. So be my guest, whatever is needed.
Thank you.
Okay.
One of I'm not going to watch, and one of the, towns that was awarded this, they used their money for a billboard. This is a great place to live. You should move here, we have a job opportunity. Ours was obviously a little more creative, and will they create jobs? We don't know. I don't, I promise you, no, they can't. Do I hope it happens? Yes. So it's been a lot of man hours, but again, it's grant money, and I think it's a good first stab at. Again, this has started, I gave you a horrible example of these, FTEs that were created by CDP. This can be said for Martha as well. It's a revolving door of ages. You know, they're, you want to be there. What are we doing to identify and then help kids either get certified, get their required training, help them build a resume, so that way we will stay. I guarantee you, I can go to the high school here in Marfa and say, what are you doing after you graduate? How would you like a job making $120,000 a year? And they're probably going to say yes. Yeah. So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
So agenda item number 19, discussion of action to approve the County Department of Labor.
All reports were turned in, I know, Miss Denise's grandmother passed away.
Yes.
So she'll be giving me her report for the next, regular meeting, I'll put it in there, along with her other method.
In the spirit of saving time, I'm gonna move that we approve the Presidio County Department.
I have a motion and a second on the favor.
Aye.
Agenda item number 20, administrative update and announcements and the others information. You can have this.
Just had a call this, was it verification that from the screening, some of that, one some creators took the housing stuff that family food. I was really checked it out, I called there and checked it out, it was a, it provided anything. There was a branch on the street, they had a terror calling. I got a call in, which you guys were so cool. You work with peace. Yeah. Thank you.
Who got a motion at the something? I guess I'll get with, what these are part, is that this road 17?
I'm not sure it's a good house in this area, if I don't know, it's before we go.
But isn't it close to the?
Not really. Yeah, I go this to the three goes to the side. This is the morning.
And then you get copies of whatever was sent to the THC. Determine the problem.
I think it was just a report that they required, we sent it back to showing uploaded. If we didn't look at anything on the shots.
That's fine, I just, the attorney, the project attorney was asking for a copy. And whether they need to go to a or just, physically to get it, I think it's easier to email them than the direct from the show in person.
No.
I just wanted to report that Obed and I attended a meeting last night in Capitol Avenue. And I mentioned how good feedback, and this is all dealing with the proposed wall. And I will be, visiting with the judge, Big Bend Telephone Company contacted me. And then when I was to put together a meeting between Big Bend Telephone and the CDP, because they already have, fiber optic, all starting in Redford, all the way to Candelaria and 13 miles past Candelaria. And they'd like to work with Border Patrol about why not a technology wall? We already have everything in there, which would be a blessing, but it's a long shot, so gonna try to facilitate that. That's all I got. And Obed, thank you so much for everything.
They're probably gonna know the line anyway, so they don't accidentally.
The Chris placed in on the back sidewalk where they wanted to leave it open, but after we had the water leak, so that's in place. The other issue I got, and I'll ask everybody to jump, the hot water heaters out here in the courthouse, and we can't find the plumber to come look at it. Nobody will return their calls or answer, so if anybody got an idea, let me know.
You called Trevor Warren?
Who?
Trevor Warren?
I don't know, Trevor.
Is that a Alpine? He's good.
Keep plumbing, we'll see stuff.
Okay, send it to me. I just told me somebody and I found with it on the call, but I don't know who it was.
Trevor is,
Deep plumbing.
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Oh. If you'll send me the info, I think what happened when that water line, the electric hot water here, when that water line broke,
Drain.
Drain and, not.
It's all one.
Yeah, that's what I think.
How big is, how many gallons?
That's what I said too. The number I say.
Yeah. That's it for me. Don't eat, don't walk on the sidewalk.
Well, I want to thank everybody for making this happen, the construction or the finishing the county audit proceeding. And I wanna, my idea is doing it in phases because it's not about, this would be for phase one and I'm very happy with this started. Good.
Yeah, you should.
We found housing, look good.
Yeah.
I know that we have some monies, allocated for the accident.
Yeah.
What is it 40?
It's 48,000, sir.
They have a guy that wanted to take a look at the, building A, visit city. And he came in estimate about $2,700 from the dirt. But, we'll put that in next, with the next agenda item. And, I've been asking contractors to give me a quote on the building. So, we haven't got anything yet. We're officials.
So then when you're asking them to do work, are you following that plan that we got from the architects that all the repairs that needed, or?
No.
Or you're doing something totally different?
Yeah, these people are contractors, they know. I don't, they're very, I believe, I don't know if it's legal or not, but if we get an engineer or something, then he's gonna eat all the money.
No, we already been done.
I need a copy of that.
It's in your drive. It's in your commissioner's drive. You'll see it right below.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great when this.
If you go to my-
Probably big time, but they had kind of outlined everything that needed to be done, and then the contractors.
Yes, right there at the bottom. Yes, sir.
2022.
You'll have to download it. No, it's the same. It's the same.
So what I'm saying is they're waiting for it now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, but it explains how they need it, how it needs to be done.
It's just the step.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be helpful for anyone.
Yeah. For a contractor, for us, we move forward.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Let me do that, please. I see it already. So that's my reporting.
Here's one.
You know, I'm gonna need some advice on how to get that PO. I was talking to our auditor about our treasurer about it, so I'm gonna have to have a PO so that if we need materials, that the guys can go and get them at the local hardware store, wherever they need to get.
If you want to go, meeting to my office, and we can get started with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had a three-day conference, it's a three-day conference in Lubbock, went very well. One of the sections was on probate, and it was very, very interesting. I learned a lot about it because it was my first experience, and I don't know if you recall, since we had small estate affidavit.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about it, and then the other thing that I learned was, because I know that one of the things is, intestate, when there's, the other big number is full, you do the four. And I was looking at how easy it can become now. To just circumvent for you just ask for waiver.
You can ask for it. Some courts were really hard.
Yeah. I think what I took away from the conference, though, they're really starting to relax because they recognize that the program, with so many in Texas now, not really. And they have no idea, really, their answers when they get there, I did not have to do it. And so there's been a lot of legal, I guess, exceptions to that rule. But we'll talk, that's what I'm doing. Then
I think my grandpa's, probate, when I was handled before I took office, I think the first probate you had, it was like a month after you took office or something like that.
So, and then I had council of governments, board of directors and we parceled out. It was pretty tough. We had, it seems like every year the grant monies are awarded, they were, so from 2.6 to 2.4 to 2.2 million, I think this year was like 1.8 million. And so you have everybody coming back and asking for money, or so that's going to be distributed. As a matter of fact, the last allocation that was, never had been able to. We're all looking at those happening to get publicity. And obviously, on the federal government and state governments, it's their growth, not growth, but having money. It's system growth. And so, and unfortunately for us, at the bottom of this, bottom of the chain, we're the one that gets most affected. I guess I'll go in there for you guys if you have any questions about any other concerns or discussions that I have with the senator and with the Board of Protection. The senator, I'm sorry, was very, very attentive today. He's very familiar with the region, how many traveling here, flying over it, and riding on. He's in agreement that physical wall makes no sense to him. He defers to CUP. The CUP chief, Michael Banks, defers to is deferring to the chiefs in charge of the centers. They have the biggest influence. So, like the Ohio sector, the defense sector. So, if you want, I think, and what I took from that is, if we want changes, the changes are going to happen at the sector level. And that's what we should, I mean, don't get me wrong, we still got plans to go to that, this whole group of people are planning to go to Austin, planning to go see the governor, planning to go see the lieutenant governor. And we're still going to continue with Senator Cruz, but I think at grassroots level here, we need to be talking to them. We brought it with them on the telephone and fiber optic. I think it's, we have this sense, we know this. I think, who broke it down was the New York Times broke it down, I think. And they said that we're currently along the defense sector, we're having 9 giveaways today, 9. I see more work going at the meeting at lunchtime than 9 giveaways from Del Rio to El Paso. So again, I think we're doing a hell of a job. I wouldn't want to do it, but I think a physical wall is not the way to go. But they got a good stick and they got a good check rope. So all we can do is continue doing what we're doing. And then we're going to start up criminal docket.
Yes.
Again, I'm open for any suggestions. I haven't taken a lot of calls from attorneys and from defendants. And they want to, so I'm prepared if you want to catch up, if you want to go to this a month.
Yeah, that's fine. So I know we've got one, we have, or about 2 weeks ago. And it looks like that docket is mostly Class Cs, so the appeals and how come up and take reports. I think it makes sense because those are voluminous and easy versus the Class A's and B's, which are, there's only a few of them that are difficult, and those have different lawyers, right? They have public defender's office. I think it makes sense for now to have one docket with Class Cs and then a separate document with Class Cs.
I'm all for it. My thing is, if you have your system, this is my system, and the same with you guys. However you guys wanna work this out, I'm gonna raise my hand and.
Okay.
So.
And I've already been in discussion with James, McDermott about changing the date of the standing, you know, the every third work day, because it's the day after we have Commissioner's Court Presidio, so it makes it impossible we prepare for court, because I'm down in Presidio for Commissioner's Court the day before, and of course, every defense attorney waits until the day before court to reach out to me about plea deals, so it hinders my ability to really try.
So again, I'm prepared to move it up or down, whatever you want, so it's good to go, look at your calendar, and we'll go from there. So that's fine, but I would like to try to catch up, I know we're piling up, and hopefully we can start to dwindle that down. My biggest concern is the requirement for grants, and, you know, the rules that they will apply to all for that. So, with that, we would get to our agenda item number 21, adjourn.
I'll second this motion.
Motion second on the board.
I
think Brendan would say yes.
Yes, you want to. Thank you all.